Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back in with another live stream. This is a bit of an impromptu one. I was going to do a lesson and, record it and upload it, but I just thought I would live stream this instead. It's a lesson based on Matthew 16. And it was motivated by a question that somebody left on my comment board. And so I just thought that I'll respond to the question and then just do it as a live stream. I'm going to go play golf, in like a few hours. So got some time to kill, but I'll read the question and then just kind of basically sermonize it, I guess. Popular topic, right now. This is somebody who responded to my video, Why the Mark of the Beast Cannot Be the RFID Microchip. This is Ricardo Yepes. I don't understand why you're completely ruling out the RFID microchip being the mark of the beast. Will you elaborate, please? Solely because the implant is in the palm of the hand. Whether it is the mark or not, I wouldn't get it. Just to be on the safe side, thanks for the video and hope to hear from you. So his argument, in this is that, what's going on now is not in the hand or the forehead. And so this is what I want people to understand, just obviously, claims that I make on my channel. And then is that God is interacting with a certain group of people. And so it's our responsibility to go seek those people out or be one yourself, and then that's, ideally both, that kind of thing. So that's the way it is. And then that's why I know there's something amazing about the times that we live in now, because it's very, very clear, who's not interacting with God. And they're not going to change their tune. And so that's something to consider, and then that to me is one of the strongest arguments actually that you can prove that the Bible's true, because it has a lot of power in that regard, where if you read it and go up to certain people who should be interested in it, they actually get angry, and that kind of thing. And so that's not a normal thing, in any other field. And so that's unique about the times that we live in now, and then unique about the power of the Bible. And so I'm very aware of the fact that, my claims need to be examined in that same way, with that level of scrutiny. But I am essentially, I'm thankful, that I'm in this position, that what I'm teaching has come from God, because I know that it didn't come from me. And so that's why we don't have any ambiguity about what we teach, because we say, God told me, and then we relay that information to YouTube or whatever mechanism we're using to teach. And then that's the foundation, and then I'll show that here in Matthew 16, which is the foundation of this lesson. So that's why we know certain things, and then again, I put we because it would be a group of people that are saying God told me this, and then it's not actually Christ, and it's not to be disrespectful to Christ, but there's a group of people on this earth, and I'll prove it in at least these two chapters, Matthew 16 and Revelation 7, that are interacting with the Most High. And it's not necessarily that they did anything. It's just that they've been chosen, that God will tell them certain things. And then that's just what he's decided. And so I'm making the claim that I'm one of them. And they're numbered, in fact. And so that's ultimately the reason why we can say things with certainty. And so, and we're taught, in the Bible, and I'll read those verses, that you have to say it with certainty or else it's evil, because God is not distributing information and then saying it's going to be one of these three options, or anything like that. It's not a choose your own adventure that we're living in. It's God's movie. And so, and he knows the beginning and the end. And that's what the Bible says, that in fact, he's the one who's been orchestrating and narrating the entire movie and all details and aspects of it. And so he's not going to be telling his elect, oh yeah, maybe, might be this, might be that. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, because we're living in a movie that's already, the end is already known, and that's the only way that that's possible, for the Bible to be true, because it makes a claim that it knows the end. And then it gives us clues. And then I would say quite a bit of clues and details of how it's going to end. So that has to be known, and so there's not going to be like revelation that's going to come out and be like, I don't know, it could be this, could be that, and all that kind of stuff. So ultimately, that's why I can say what I teach about the mark of the beast, because I believe that I'm one of those people, those men that are interacting with God, and so that's a bold statement, but it's, to me, the truths they're so obvious, and so I'm very, very comfortable making that statement. It's just, again, it's incredibly clear what the mark of the beast is. And so, I put those, I responded to his question with, my usual copying and pasting of the meaning of the word Dexios, and then the numerology of BNT, and then that kind of thing. And so, but now we know, a group of us know that God is behind the deception. And so we're now doing what it says in Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people. And so when we come out, then we're thinking in terms of God's vantage point. And so we can see the movie playing out, and then we see all the characters, and then he gives us insight into what their role is and all that kind of stuff. And so that's one of the perks, of honoring God and doing what he says. And then, so we know all the quote characters and what their roles are. And so our role for people who believe that they're part of God's elect is to not be ambiguous, or maybe this, maybe that. No, we're claiming that we're out of the movie and we're watching it, play out. And then we have a pretty good, vantage point of obviously our life, and then what's happening now, and then what's going to happen in the near future. Obviously, we don't see everything fully, but we have a pretty good vantage point. And so then we're able to say things definitively, very, very definitively. And then we can prove it in the Bible, of course. And so, but ultimately that's the claim, and so that's a very, very heavy claim. And even when I say it, it's it sounds heavy, but I'm thankful that I'm in this position, because I'm in a luxurious position, because what I teach, and I think for a lot of us that come by here, certainly these truths are obvious, and they could not be more obvious. And so we know exactly what the mark of the beast is. And anybody that doesn't know at this point, I'll show they're evil, and then I'll prove it in the Bible. And so that's the times that we live in now. And I would just say for people, it's not like erring on the side of caution or anything like that. We know exactly what it is, without a doubt. And it could not be more obvious. And then ultimately, God is telling us what it is. And then so knowing what it is and that it's out tells us the times that we live in now. It could not be more clear that we're on the precipice of Christ's second coming, without a doubt. There's no doubt, at all about anything, that's going on. So, even I was listening to Tahar. He called me a clown. And then he's like, this clown, the mind of God, saying that the two witnesses are the two men in Acts 1:10-11, but those men are angels, even though the text actually says men. And so these people, we see their role, their job is to flip everything. So the Bible says that the gospel is going to be preached by angels, but then they'll say no man's going to preach the gospel. So wherever it says angels, they'll put men. And then wherever it says men, they'll put angels. And then so the text in Acts 1 says explicitly that two men were standing there. They would not be able to tell by looking at them that they're anything but two men. And so, the men of Galilee, the elect. And so they were men, and so that's why it's written that way. And then when it talks about angels, it'll explicitly say an angel, like in the plagues in Revelation 16, or the gospel being preached in Revelation 14, it'll say angels that. And then so it's very, very different, and then it tells us explicitly that that's the case. And then there's a reason for that. And so these people are either inverting the Bible, or they're saying they don't know, and then it's evil to say you don't know in the times that we live in now, because God is distributing his wisdom and knowledge openly, to his elect. And so his elect will be able to say, that's the way it is, and then prepare for the next thing. And then that kind of thing. So it's very clear, that that's the case. And so that's the way ultimately that I would answer that question, is that I know it because I'm of God's elect. And so God told us that it is, and then everything else is just ultimately proof that it is, the numerology. And then, I don't even know, you don't even need that. It's just what's happening. It literally could not be more obvious what the mark of the beast is. So the only people that don't seem to know are the government shills on YouTube and the actors. They're like, man, I don't know, maybe we have to wait and see and all that kind of stuff. So we know, again, what their role is, because again, we've come out of her, my people. And so God is then give us more insight into like the movie, because we're not in the movie, quote unquote, in the movie anymore. We're seeing it play out, and then we want exemption, because the movie, ultimately, the characters and actors in it, most of them are on God's left-hand side. And God's planning to identify and then destroy them. And so we just come out, because we don't want to be destroyed when he does it. And so we're just coming out in advance, and then declaring ourselves, asking to be exempt, from their punishment and their destruction, and their permanent destruction, body and soul. And so I know everybody's role, and what their role is. And so these people ultimately are Bible non-literalists. They're not going to take any of these verses that I say literally. And so that's why they can't say anything definitively. It's maybe this, maybe that, I don't know, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's, again, the unique thing about my channel, which I would recommend people just keep an eye out, in the sky, ultimately, in the next, 4 months or so, 4 or 5 months tops, that I'm going to be around. Keep an eye out, for sure, because I don't see anybody else speaking anything definitively, and it's not going to change. It's not like, oh, next year somebody's going to pop up and have all the answers, kind of thing, and that's not to be arrogant, but that's not going to be the case, and it would have happened already. And it's not going to happen because the Bible is being perverted by the people teaching the Bible. And it's very clear they don't understand it, because they would say, God told me, and then they would finish the sentence, and then they could go and prove it in the Bible. And then I haven't seen that. And then you're not going to see that, unless you can receive what I teach on my channel. So that's the claim that I make. And that's ultimately the reason why I can say, I know what the mark of the beast is, not it may be this. Okay. Another way to reword the mark of the beast verse is anything that goes out worldwide that's required to buy and sell that violates one of God's laws. And so God's elect are in all nations. And so this has to be a prophecy that affects all nations, and then has to be prohibitive to allow those people to be able to buy and sell unless they break one of God's laws. And so required in order to be a part of the quote unquote economy. And so that's the way to word it, and then whatever that is, I believe the masks was that, but explicitly one of God's laws. That's the way to word the mark of the beast. And so then we know exactly what it is. And then the elect know that they're Israelites. And I'll read that in Revelation 7. And so they're going to, whether they were before, they knew that they were before, or after that, then they're going to honor God's laws, to the death. And so, no, they're not, they know, first of all, they know that they're sealed and they're part of God's elect. And so they know that Christ is going to return soon. So they're not going to be like trying to figure out a way to make it in the system or anything like that. They're going to figure out a way to how to get out of the system. Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people. And so that's going to be their mindset. And so they're not going to look for any excuse to stay in the system. And so that's offensive to a majority of the world, except God's elect. They won't be offended by that. If you say that to another person, like, oh, I don't want to be here and I'm trying to get out of here as quickly as possible, that'll offend God's left-hand side, because then they're like, oh, you don't want to stay here? Oh, you don't want to go through the great tribulation and, like hunker down and all that? That's offensive, to people like Tahar and End Times Teacher and all these other actors. And so who cares? Okay, it's like, it's not our job to like make them feel better or whatever. Like, they're just here for us to laugh at how stupid they are and how terrible their understanding about the Bible is. And like, it's just nonsense. It's absolute gibberish. So God's elect know exactly what the mark of the beast is. God's elect know, exactly what who the two witnesses are, and then they know exactly who Mystery Babylon is. And then they know lots of things. And so just know that, and then if they don't know, they're going to say they don't know. And then they'll be able to find out, very, very quickly once they look into it. It's not going to be any like ambiguity or anything like that. So, just know that that's important. And then I'll show the biblical support for why that's the case, because we're not citing man when we make these statements, on our channel or anything like that. We're citing God, that God's revealing these things to us, and doesn't have to do it in one moment or one day, but, he's definitely going to be the one that's doing the revelation. Okay. So just know that. And then again, I'll prove that here, in Matthew 16, 13 to 17, when Jesus came into the coast of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, saying, "Whom do men say that I, the Son of Man, am?" Okay. So he's saying, what do you hear? What's all the gossip that you hear, and all that? So he's inquiring. And they said, some say that thou art John the Baptist, some Elias. And then, so they didn't even know at that time that those two are the same. And others, Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. Okay. So they're aware that he has power. Okay. Without a doubt. He saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? Okay. So his inner circle, what do you say? And Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." Okay. And so verse 17, and Jesus answered and said unto him, "Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood," listen to this, "for flesh and blood hath not revealed it unto thee, but my Father which is in heaven." So Christ didn't say that to them. So this group, the elect, interacts with the Father. Okay. And so just know that. And so that's the reason why for that person, who asked that question, about the mark of the beast, that's why I know what the mark of the beast is. And that's why I know who the two witnesses are. And then that's why I know what Mystery Babylon is, because God told us. Okay. And, then if you have a different opinion on that, then you have a different God. Okay. And then I wish you luck. Okay. I can't prove my God exists until Christ returns with his elect and the two witnesses. But for Ricardo Yepes, if you ever hear this, that's the reason. Okay. And that's the only answer that anybody should give. If they're stating something from the Bible, they have to say, "God told me this." And not only this, listen to this, the Son of the living God. And we're going to get that language again in Revelation 7. So Simon Peter answered and said, "Thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God." Okay. And so when are you ever going to hear somebody say, "The living God told me this," and then fill in the blanks? I haven't heard it once. Okay. And you're not going to hear it next year or the year after, the year after. You're going to be less likely to hear it in the future, basically to nothing. Okay. And so again, this is not to toot my own horn, but I'm looking for that. I'm looking for people to say that, and they will not say that. They will not. And so, and I've looked and I've asked, okay, people in my personal life, YouTube, everywhere, people who are quote religious scholars, all that kind of stuff. They will not say that. And then because if they did say that, it would be a definitive answer. And then I'll prove why that's the case. That's the way God's elect speak. Okay. And then we get that understanding here in Matthew 5:37. Okay. "But let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay, for whatsoever is more than these come from evil." Why? Because those people will just make up stuff. I don't know, 50-50, might be this, might be that. They're just making up things on the fly. And so that's, again, why I want people to understand that I'm absolutely comfortable with my teaching, because no one else is making any sense. Okay. They're just like, I don't know, maybe. And like the whole world's stupid. It might be flat, might be a ball, maybe this, maybe that. It might have came from Wuhan. We don't know, all that kind of stuff. No, we say that God did that. Okay. And then God's behind all of this. Okay. And we know exactly where all this stuff is coming from. All the deceptions are coming from, and all the plagues are coming from, and everything is coming from. We know where this earth came from and all the people on it. Okay. And the narrative on it, we know exactly where they came from. And it's not Esau or the devil and all this kind of stuff. God's behind all this stuff. Okay. And then we say that definitively. And then it says, for whatsoever is more than these cometh for evil. And so that's why I know a lot of people that come by my channel, you're evil. Because you don't listen to somebody who says, "God told me this," or you don't go to God yourself and then come back and say, "God, the living God told me this." You'll never say that. Okay. You just will talk about nonsense. And so that's just my vantage point, and so again, this doesn't prove what I teach is true, but that's what I'm observing, and it's very, very clear. Like no one has any idea what's going on. Okay. Like literally nobody has any idea what's going on, except what I'm teaching. Okay. And so that's exciting for me personally. And so all these people, when you come by my channel, and it doesn't happen as much anymore, but you state that the mark of the beast is a microchip or something else besides what's going on now, then you're at the risk of judgment. Because if that's not true, if God didn't tell you that, and then the living God told you that, and then you're pushing that, then you're going to get the plagues, because you're adding a prophecy to the Bible. And so That's bad news, okay, for you. So I would, for people, I would figure out what it is, okay, and then go ask God. Don't trust me just because I say that I'm of the elect, but you have to go ask God, or just say you don't know, which is fine. James 1:8 is what? 666. 18, 666. A double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. And so once I find out that a person is unstable in one thing, and it doesn't take me more than 5 minutes to figure that out with everybody that I've come across, then I know that they're going to be unstable in everything else. Okay, because they're double-minded. What do you think of that person? I don't know, not bad, decent guy and all that kind of stuff. Well, then you got to say, do you think that he's evil or do you think that he's righteous? And then if you're double-minded, then you're going to be unstable in everything else. And so I dismiss you. Okay, bye. Okay, and all that kind of stuff. You come to here and ask me, what's your opinion on this person? I'm going to ask them a few questions and I'm going to give you an answer right away. I'm going to give you a report very, very quickly. Hey, they responded to these questions like this. And then I think that they're a Satanist, I think that they have a chance and that kind of thing. So if they teach that Christ was born of a man and woman, I'm going to tell you exactly what they're like. Okay, they're a Satanist. Okay, because that's blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. That's the worst sin to ever commit. Okay, other sins can be forgiven except that one. So I'm not double-minded, like you guys, the people on YouTube. And so just know that, okay, we are Bible literalists. Okay, the elect believe that they've written these words. Okay, and then they read it and it makes sense to them. Okay, it's just like a person who's written a textbook. They're reading the book that they wrote. Okay, it's like, of course it makes sense to them because they wrote it. So these words could not be more obvious to us, that their life. So a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Okay, and so how does that apply to our government, for example? Is our government not double-minded? Do they not change flip-flop every day? Oh, I don't know, this, that, or it could be this, could be that, could be like making up new stuff. James 18, what's 18? 666. This is the mindset of a person who has not interacted with the living God. Because somebody who interacts with the living God will say, the living God told me this. And then they'll finish the sentence. Okay, they'll tell you what date, and then they'll describe things about themselves and their personality and their characteristics, and it'll be consistent with that living God. Okay, haven't seen that yet. Let me know if you guys find that. Okay, so this is another example of God's elect interacting with the living God. Okay, Revelation 7, and after these things I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor the sea, nor any tree. So God's planning to harm the earth, the sea, and the trees. Okay, the earth with fire, the sea, the living animals within it with the plagues in Revelation 16, and the trees, you can read Isaiah 10, he's going to burn everything except for a handful of trees that a child could count down how many are left. And so that's the plan. Yeah, just so you know, Goop, the quote unquote Hebrew Israelites are teaching that as well. And so that's their job, is to essentially make everything that's spiritual and sacred and let man do it, So the 2 witnesses are, the 2 esteemed spirits are going to say it's them. They say that the gospel is going to be preached by man, when we know in the Bible it says angels. And then everything that's spiritual, they'll turn it into man. And then Christ was born of the Holy Spirit and Mary. Then they'll say, no, Joseph and Mary, produce Christ. And so that's their job, is essentially to take everything spiritual and make it carnal, and physical and that kind of thing. And so, and then they're only going to talk about like physical things. They can't imagine spiritual things, truly happening on this earth. Okay. And so that's who I'm referring to specifically, but, I can't, confirm or deny what you're saying there, but it's just an obvious truth, that Christ was born of the Holy Spirit, and Mary, it just could not be more obvious that he was brought into this world in a very, very unique way, because his kingdom is not of this world. Okay. He's not a king the way the other kings are. He's the king of all those kings and that kind of thing. So he sits above them, and then, so he's brought into this earth in a special way. Back to Revelation 7:2, and I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal, listen to this, of the living God. Where did we hear that language earlier with Peter, who's obviously one of God's elect? What did he say? He said that Christ is the Son of the living God. Okay. In verse 16, thou art the Christ, the Son of the living God. So Christ must be the Son of the living God back in Matthew when that was written. And then that God must still be alive in the book of Revelation 7. which I'm making a claim that if this was me, this happened on January 1st, 2020. So God must be alive now too. Wow. Okay. That's amazing. And so then he must be teaching this same group the same things that he was teaching Simon Peter, that Christ is indeed the Son of God. And so he hasn't stopped teaching, his people, his elect. And so that's amazing. I'll read that again. And I saw another angel ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God. That's in 7:2. 7 times 2 is 14. And he cried with a loud voice to the 4 angels to whom it was given to hurt the earth and the sea. Okay. And so saying, hurt not the earth, neither the sea nor the trees, till we have sealed the servants of our God in their forehead. Okay. And I heard the number of them which were sealed, and there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. And so this group is the group of 144,000 men, we know that have the seal of the living God in their forehead. And so no, God didn't plant a microchip in their head. He implanted information. He told them certain things. First of all, that they're the elect, okay, and that they'd be Israelites, because this group is Israelites. And then he's going to ultimately, they're going to know that Christ's return is imminent, because they're being sealed prior to the destruction, the wrath of God. And so they're going to know quite a few things, okay, and then they're going to say, God did this to me and told me this, and then he's going to return soon, because he told me this, and then he planted that in their forehead, in their mind. And so that forehead, that language, is the same language that's used for the mark of the beast. There's a group of people on this earth who are on God's left-hand side, and they're not getting any piercings. They're not stupid, okay, like getting whatever injections and all that kind of stuff. But they are on God's left-hand side because they're the quote masterminds, of the deception and stuff. So, the mark of the beast includes them, of course. And so that's what it means. That's the same term, that's used for foreheads. And so this is information that's implanted in one's mind. And then from that point going forward, that this group is going to say, God told me this. They're going to actually say it this way: the living God told me this. Okay. And so that's the claim that I make on my channel. And so the living God has told me what the mark of the beast is, and who the 2 witnesses are, and what mystery Babylon is, and what the shape of the earth is, and what Christ's skin color is, and all that kind of stuff. Okay. That's ultimately the living God. But this sealing right here of this group is needed in order for them to not be deceived, because not until they're sealed here can they know the full truth. And then one of the full truths is that they'd be Israelites, and then they'd be of the elect, and then that Christ is going to return soon. And so unless you have somebody, whether it's in public or private, make the statement that they believe that they're sealed, and then they can prove it, then you can't say that we're in the end times. It doesn't mean that they can be off the grid. They can very much. So if I'm not one, then they're off the grid, because I don't see it on YouTube or anything like that, or in my real life. So that's still very, very possible. And I would say, still very likely. But unless you have this situation happen ever, in human history, then we can't say that we're in the end times, because this event has to happen first. There has to be at least one person on earth saying, the living God told me this, and then he's going to return soon. And then that would be one of the elect, because the end times is cut short for this group. And so that's a very, very important thing to know. And so I want people to understand that the Bible ultimately is only good news for this group of people. Okay. It's terrible news potentially for a majority of the earth. It is terrible news for a majority of the earth, because every time you read the Bible to a majority of the earth, they don't like it. Okay. They get angry. Oh, no, Christ wasn't born of a man and woman. And then they'll get angry when you teach that. Okay. And then you teach them that the earth is flat. They'll get angry. You tell them that the 2 witnesses, who they are, then they'll get mad, because they think they're the 2 witnesses. Okay. And so if the people who are Christian get angry when you read the Bible to them, what are the other people going to be like? Okay. They're not going to be excited. Oh, great. Hey, let's read the Bible today. That'll be really good. No, this group is the only, ultimately, obviously there's people surrounding this group that are saved, but only this group ultimately needs salvation, because they know that they're in hell, and then they know that the destruction's about to come, and they know that they're away from their Father, and they treat the Heavenly Father as their actual Father. They view their dad on earth as an actor. Okay. Just like I view all you other people as actors, and that's what you are, unless you're a person that says, God, the living God told me this, and then fills in the blank. And that's not to be arrogant again, but I haven't heard it, and I'm not going to hear it, from people. All I'm going to hear is just nonsense. Okay. Come out of your mouth. It's just gibberish. And then it's annoying. Okay. It makes me want to not be here even more, which is impossible, because it's like, it's basically infinity at this point. So that's why I can say what the mark of the beast is. And so I just warn people out there who are YouTube prophets, but can't say this, the living God told me this. Be careful what you type. Okay. Just keep your thoughts to yourself. Don't put them in public. If you're not sure, you don't have to believe the two witnesses are the two men in Acts 1, 10, 12, and like I teach, but unless you know for sure, don't teach anything on it. Mike 444 is teaching that they're in Israel or something like that. Okay. Which is absolutely absurd. And so he's doing himself a disservice. And then everybody's got a huge following. Oh, Mike, great. You're so smart. Thank you for, no one's telling him to shut up. Okay. Why are you teaching that? Because that's incorrect and that kind of thing. And so he's up for judgment, and so just because he's right on one thing and then wrong on everything else, that is God's not, hey, not bad. Okay. You got 10% of it right. No big deal. No, he will not say, God told me this about the two witnesses or about, Mystery Babylon or whatever. And so he's in trouble. Okay. And all I can do is warn people, because I was a part of that, prior to this day when I believed that I was sealed. Like I didn't know, I wouldn't say at that point I was teaching anything controversial, but, I was at risk of teaching things incorrectly. Thankfully, I didn't overstep, my bounds at that time. But, we can't have that, because we can't have more and more confusion flooding the earth, because there's already a lot of it. And so I would highly recommend people just don't say anything, and then just watch, or at least wait and see, what happens with me in the next few months. If you don't believe it, that's fine, and then we're going to know very, very soon whether it's true or not. Because if I am one of these people in Revelation 7, then I'm not going to die. And so, and I'm running out of money, and I couldn't be happier about that. So then, Christ would have to return soon. So just wait and see, and then if, I'm no longer teaching, then you could, entertain other ideas potentially and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, I would highly recommend people just, unless unless you can say, God told me this, and then come and bring it forward, then, which, I won't see that, and that's, again, not to be arrogant. I wish that was the case. I wish that somebody would either come forward and say, God told me what you're teaching is correct, or God told me what you're teaching is incorrect. And then I'll listen to it. And if it's better, and it's true, ultimately, we can confirm it in the Bible. I'll be like, okay, well then go follow that person. And I'll, take my videos down and then mirror theirs. And that's what that's what I'd be excited about, either of those, because then we'll get closer to the truth potentially. And so, but again, I just know that that's not going to happen. And so that's why I would highly recommend people just, just wait and see, okay, what's going on. Matthew 13:16, that's in 3:6, 13:16. 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 6 is 6, 666. But blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear. Okay. And so what are they hearing? Well, they're hearing the voice of God, of the Most High, of the living God. And so their ears are blessed. They have the same ear structure as anybody else, but they're hearing some other voice talk to them. And then they go and tell it. Okay. And so, and those ears and those eyes are blessed. Why is this in 13:16? A lot of times, not all the times, Christ's second coming is encoded in the Bible with 18 or 666 or 66 or 33. Wow. Again, we have that here. Wow. Big shocker. Okay. 13:16, 666. And the times that we live in now, blessed are your eyes. Why are they blessed? Because all eyes will see him. Okay. Acts 1:10-11 tells us that Christ's disciples, his elect, will be on the earth again in the last days, and they're going to see Christ return, bring 2 men here, and then they're going to be taken away. And so that's why their eyes are blessed. And then in this time, when they're seeing Christ, his ministry, they're seeing it with their own eyes. Okay. And that's an amazing thing. And many people have wanted to see that, so that's amazing. And so the Bible is ultimately only going to be understood by a very, very small group of people. And so that's not an arrogant thing. It's what I know now. So it's, I don't know. I didn't ask for this situation, okay, to be a scholar or whatever, but it's what I observe. So I state that it's true. Okay. And so if I saw lots of people teaching things that made sense, I'll be like, okay, well, looks like it's for everybody or a lot of people, but I don't see that. Okay. And so that's just what it is. Okay. And it's very obvious that that's the case. So that's ultimately why I can say what the mark of the beast is. And so for anybody else who doesn't know or teaches that it's something in the future or thinks that it's a joke, then, if you think that it's never going to happen, then you're not on God's right-hand side, because you're dismissing the entire book according to Revelation 22. So you're in trouble. But if you think it's in the future, then you have to go through the plagues. And so, just know that. Matthew 13:17, for verily I say unto you that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard them. And so it's a group that's chosen. And so it's not even because of their righteousness. Like Christ said here, that many prophets and righteous men have desired to see those things which ye see, and to hear those things which ye hear and have not heard. So it's a group that would be chosen. That's why I'm again in a position where I have no choice to say that I'm part of the chosen. And it's not because of my righteousness. It's not even because I'm a quote prophet. It's because we are blessed, because our eyes are going to see and then our ears hear. So all I can prove right now is that my ears hear, and then I convey that message on YouTube. But this cannot be fully proven until all eyes see him, even those who pierced him. And then even when that happens, this group has to be taken away, because that's the group that is God's elect. And so it's going to be made very evident who they are in 2nd Ezra 16:73. And so I know just from 2nd Ezra as well that we have to be in the last days, because it's very, very clear who God's elect are not. It's obvious, because they're not quality, people. And so 2nd Ezra 16:73 is a verse that I quote a lot. They shall be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. And so I want people to know that our entire life has been a test. Okay. And then that test comes to a completion when the elect are sealed. And so there's no more testing after that. You have the answer. God literally gives you the answers to the test, and like the parts that you needed to get filled in. And so once you have the answer, you don't sit there and ask for another test. Okay, bring me another exam. I'm just bored. Or no, you're like, it's over now. Okay, you want to be with the test maker, not the you don't want to be a test taker anymore. Okay, and so that's what it means when it says that they'll be tried. Their whole life was a form of a trial. Okay, they don't need to sin and go through more and more evil like End Times Teacher and all these other actors are teaching, because their job is to bait you into more and more evil. Okay, my job is to proclaim to the earth that I'm not deceived, and then give people a timeline of how much time I have left, and then to buckle up. Okay, because if my ears were the ones that were blessed to hear, then my eyes are going to be the eyes that are blessed to see, and so are yours. Whether you think that it's a blessing for you or not, it's you better decide soon. Okay, whether you want that or not. Okay, it's very clear that most people do not want Christ to return because they love it here. They love this hell that they live in, and they don't care. They're like, no, just give me 10 more years. And then, then I can get excited about Christ to return. Give me 15 more years, 1,000 years, and all that kind of stuff. Those people are sick, mentally sick. It's crazy for a Christian to not want Christ to return now, this moment, because Christ is returning to represent, like he always represents, the Heavenly Father. So why would you not want your loving, brilliant, infinite Father to be present here now? Okay, unless you view him as evil, which a majority of the Christians and the Hebrew Israelites view God as evil, and so they can do the work of God. Okay, we as people that believe we're God's elect, we view ourselves as evil, and we view God as holy. So we want him to return. Okay, and then make us into his son. And that's the plan. And so that's the only reason why people do not genuinely want Christ to return, because they know that they're not dealing with their heavenly Father. Their father is actually Satan. And so that's very, very clear that that's the case. And Christ says that to people that come up against him, even people who claim to be religious, he's like, your father is actually the devil. Okay. And he's very, very aware, who his elect are, and who they aren't. And this is actually in verse 44 So God's elect will know, what's, the works of the devil. They're going to have insight. Ye are of your father, the devil. This is John 8:44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. Okay. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. And so anytime you speak a lie, you're aligning yourself with the father of lies. Okay. And so then you're a Satanist. So that's why I would highly recommend, if you don't answer a question with I don't know, or the living God told me this, then I would shut up. Okay. I would highly recommend you shut up. That's a very good idea for a lot of you people. And so, because no lie is of the truth, according to the Bible. Okay. First John 2:21, I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth. So who's the group that's going to know the truth? It's going to be the group that are sealed in Revelation 7. They're going to know all the truths, that they need to know, but because ye know it. Okay. And that no lie is of the truth. Let me read again. And that no lie is of the truth. Okay. And so most people out there are spinning ball earthers. That's not the truth. Okay. And so that means that you're worshiping the father of lies, which is Satan. Okay. The devil. And so just know that. And that's very clear again in John 8:44. And for numerology people, you add the 44, you get an 8, you get 8 plus 8, 16, 6, 1 times 6. So there's double numerology. And so we see God's elect see the evil. They first and foremost see it in themselves, and then they see it everywhere, and God allows us to see it. And then we can call it out first and foremost in ourselves and then in others. And it's very clear when we just sense with our spirit when somebody's speaking a lie. It could not be more obvious, because they don't say it with a certain level of conviction, and they don't say it as if they're excited about it, because God would have told them the truth. And so they're just making up stuff, just random gibberish. Okay. And then they get angry when you ask them a question, and all that kind of stuff. And so it could not be any easier in the days that we live in to get to the truth. Okay. And then that's the journey that I've been on, and that's the trying, the testing. And I would assume that it's over now, because I'm not going to get tested anymore when I realize everybody else is a liar. And so what else is there to test me? And this is, again, I say this humbly, but if everybody else is lying, then what else is there to do here? Okay. I'm not going to uncover more lies because everybody's lying. Okay. And so it's well, what's the point anymore? And so, and no, this is a very interesting reference. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. And so once you're a liar, then you're going to have lust, and it's going to be a purely physical thing. You're going to have a carnal mindset. Okay. You're going to talk about flesh, money, and all that kind of stuff, physical things. Okay. And so the opposite is also true. If you're not into lies, then you're only going to talk about spiritual things. Okay. The spirit. And then, which is ultimately the father of all spirits, is the Most High. And so the reciprocal is true. Okay. And then, so that's why it doesn't take me more than 5 minutes to know exactly what you're all about, anybody. And then I say that confidently. Okay. And so for you people out there who are actually genuine and sincere, I think it's pretty clear that we're on the precipice of something big, without a doubt. And it's going to be bad news for a majority of the earth. So I know what the mark of the beast is. I guess for the few people that are watching, do you know what it is? Okay. What is it? You can type it in the chat. You are correct who the two witnesses are. You should read the Clementine homilies and apostolical constitutions. Apostolical. I've never seen that word before. They are Christian writing from the 12 disciples here, and as here is an expert. For Moses himself, who was at once the lawgiver and the high priest and the prophet and the king, and Elijah, the zealous follower of the prophets, were present at our Lord's transfiguration in the mountain, and the witnesses of his incarnation. Yeah, and the witnesses of his incarnation and his sufferings, as the intimate friends of Christ, but not as enemies and strangers, whence it was demonstrated that the law is good and holy as all. Yeah, it's obvious who the two witnesses are. And so Any other teaching aside from that is Antichrist. And we know exactly where they're going to be as well. Okay, they're going to be in America. And so if that doesn't happen, then the Bible is not true. It doesn't have to happen on my watch, but if that doesn't happen, then the Bible is incorrect. It is false. Okay, and it is evil. And so that's what it is. Okay, we know exactly who they are. They're two men. Okay, and they're the same men that have been in the past. They have been prophets. They've had a body that has failed them, potentially. And so they're going to come in that same form in the last days, and they're going to have the same power that they've had in those times, over the clouds and the water and everything. And so that's what we're told in Revelation 11. It could not be more obvious who they are. No, it's not other random people, Enoch and stuff that people make up. We know exactly who they are at this point because God has confirmed this. And so he's given us clues, and I would not even say that they're clues at this point. You read Revelation 11, you know within a few seconds who they are based on the description. And so that's a unique teaching, that I didn't come up with, and I don't see that anywhere else on YouTube, and you never will. And so that's, again, why I would highly recommend people to, just give the Bible a chance. Okay. And if you're struggling understanding it, just say that, it's no big deal. Like, I don't fully understand it. And like, there were times where I really wish somebody could have explained it to me, but we can't know it until we're sealed. And then that's God's timing. We could have begged our whole life to have understanding on lots of things. And it was like, no, you're not ready yet, because we had to pay our punishment. We had to go through those trials, like I read in 2 Ezra 16:73. And so that's the tested quality of God's elect. So they had to have been tested first. And so our whole life, we've been living in lies to then now test us to see if we're going to fall for any other lies. And we cannot after we've been sealed. And so that's the only time ultimately that, that's the only group that can understand the Bible truly is God's elect. Okay. And so that's a unique time in human history. That's again why the gospel has to be preached by angels, because the people that normally would preach the gospel, who are God's elect, God is attempting to deceive them. And then he stops the deception in Revelation 7 when they're sealed in their mind. But then from that point to the end is very close, because it's prior to the wrath. So they're not going to be the ones who are going to be able to preach the gospel, which they normally would, because they're his disciples. So the angels have to preach the gospel. And so that's the reason. Okay. Because they're the only people that know the gospel, in the last days. Revelation 14:6, and I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach to them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, every single one. And so the Bible makes that specific, not just to them that dwell on the earth. That could be misconstrued to be a portion of the earth. It goes explicitly and says to every nation and kindred and tongue and people. And so these are the verses that the Hebrews and all them don't understand. And even the Christian church definitely don't understand who's responsible for preaching the gospel. So people who read the Bible, who are evil, will take what God does and then put it on their plate and then go tell, oh no, we got to do this. And then they'll make a business out of it. And then they'll say that, oh, look at all the work that I did. And God will be like, who are you? I don't know you. Depart from me, you workers of iniquity. Because they took all of God's responsibilities and put it on their resume and then did a horrible job. Okay. And then they're like, hey, pay me for my work. God's like, why did you do that? Okay. Like, you're just stupid. And so, no, you're not the two witnesses. No, you're not preaching the gospel in the last days. And no, you're none of these things. Okay. That's God's left-hand side. So just know that. And so that's why angels are going to preach the gospel. First and foremost, it has to be in the sky, because they have to be able to access, like it says here, every nation and kindred and tongue and people. So it has to transcend language. Okay. It's not like, like the angels are going to be speaking in all different languages. Okay. It's going to be a spiritual thing. That's why it has to be angels preaching. And so they're going to connect. That group that's on the earth during that time, the mixed multitude, are going to be aware that, oh no, that's God. Even though those angels are doing plagues in Revelation 16, God's doing those things. And so they're gonna be aware, okay, wow, the Bible is true. Okay, only worship the God of the Bible. Don't go along with any other thing that the government says, and then they'll give up their life. and then they'll be part of God's right-hand side. But just know that that's what's going on. Okay. That's why the gospel has to be preached in the last days with angels. First and foremost, it's a huge amount of people. And the gospel itself is going to be offensive. So you can't do it through YouTube and like the internet because it'll get shut down, censored. So it has to be in the sky. It has to be angelic. It has to be the term I like to use, orthogonal, okay, to the evil system. Okay, it has to like be in a dimension or a realm that is independent of that, because this system would stop it if it was on the streets or if it was on YouTube or whatever. They wouldn't allow it to get out. The real gospel, like it says here, the everlasting gospel. Okay, the real one. Okay, and that gospel is not being preached by anybody except God's elect, ultimately. But it's going to be with the angels. Okay, so just know that, that's why it's with angels in the last days. Okay. And the elect in the past have, of course, had the gospel when they were listening and learning from Christ directly. And then they went, into the towns and villages and all that. And then it's made it, to the last days through the Bible being preserved amazingly. And the structure of the Bible is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. It was not constructed randomly, without a doubt. I mean, my channel in lots of ways, you can prove that it's not an accident. Okay. It didn't just like land in those verses by just randomly. Okay. It's a divine book because it has a living God behind it. He's alive, and he's alive and well. Okay. And I proclaim that he's very, very alive. Okay. Based on what I was told. Silverboat's like, hey, TMoG, why are you so confident that we are in that we are in the time period of the first resurrection coming? Why do you think Yahusha has waited 2,000 years? Don't you think history is fishy? I don't know what you mean by that. I think that why are you so confident that we are in the time period of the first resurrection coming? What do you mean by that? What verse are you getting at? Just so I can go through it and explain it for the audience. What do you mean when you're talking about the time period of the first resurrection? So what the Bible says is that when Christ returns, the dead in Christ will rise first. And so there's a group who are even to this day who will pass away, but they're still on God's right-hand side. And so they're going to be taken away, and then they'll go first. And then the elect are taken away. They're going to be in bodies, that group that I read in Revelation 7. And so they're going to be taken up. Okay. And then there's still going to be a group that are on earth that are still on God's right-hand side, but they're not of the elect and they're not of the dead in Christ. And that represents God's entire right-hand side. Those have already died prior to Christ returning. Those who are on earth when Christ returns, his elect ultimately, and then the group around them who are chosen. And then there's a group that remain, but it's not like God hates the group that remains. They have to be tested further and they have to give up their life. And the Bible says that they will. And so for refusing to worship, the beast ultimately, and then to not take the mark. And so that's the God's right-hand side. And so, but the group that are taken away in the body that were sealed in Revelation 7, that's his elect. And so that's the quote government in the kingdom. And so we'll be looking at the government, if we're not taken away. And so if I'm not taken away, that's no problem. I know that God exists, because then the quality of God's elect will be taken away. They'll be people of no regard. And then, but I'm gone in a day or two. Okay, I'm not hanging around here because I know exactly what's coming for the next 1,260 days because I teach it on my channel. And so I'm not hanging around here unless Moses and Elijah happen to be in the city that I'm in Houston, which is unlikely. I would suspect they'd be in like New York or something. But no. Okay. But if they're here, of course, I would go and talk to them first and, just greet them and all that. But no, I'm not hanging around here. Okay. No, because what's coming is what's coming. Okay. What the Bible says that the dragon's going to be wroth with the people, that the remnant of the seed. And then it's going to be because of these sores. Okay. That's why that's the first plague. And so, no, I'm not hanging around here. All there's left is to watch people with sores. Okay. And then obviously if I get them, then I'm on God's left-hand side and I don't want to be here now. So why would I want to be here with sores all over my body? That would be disgusting. And so it doesn't make sense. And so the Bible's true at that point. You can't argue with the Bible when Christ returns and people are taken away in the, up a beam of light into a UFO. I mean, are you kidding me? And then 2 men are brought to America and then vilified. How do you make that up? How does the government recreate that? unless it's exactly what the Bible says. Okay, so it's like you can't fake that with Project Bluebeam. Yeah, you can put a couple saucers in the sky and like put some beams of light, but they can't take people away and then go and then, you know, take them to the temple ultimately where they'll worship. They are the temple. And so, and then return later and all that kind of stuff. Like, that doesn't make sense. Okay, there's no way the government can do that. They're not that smart. They're idiots. Okay, our governments are retarded relative to God, of course. And so you can't fake that. It's clear. Yes, and so, but to address your point of history being fishy, yeah, of course, like. Basically, what the Bible tells us is that like we're in different like stages, you know, of God's movie, okay, and different scenes, and then he sets them up, and then he puts his elect in them for some kind of trial, and then he sets up the next scene for them, and then through reincarnation, we don't remember even our past lives, and even like some of the history, he doesn't even want that to be acknowledged because, you know, then you could potentially be reading your role, you know, in the past if history was documented clearly. And so he wants us to rely on the Bible. Okay. That's the whole point of it. Okay. So the Bible has enough of the quote history for us to trust the future in our current situation. And so that's what God wants, because he doesn't want the Bible to have too much competition. Okay. And so, and then he also doesn't want the Bible to not just have competition, but to be essentially proven to be true. If history logged it independently of the Bible, then there would be no faith, because then the history would tell us that, you know, all these kingdoms existed and God did it and like all that kind of stuff. So there would be no faith in it. There would be either faith in that or faith, you know, against the Bible if it was proven to be not true. So he wants us to trust the Bible, you know, and so that's why the history documentation of history is altered, you know, or destroyed or limited. Okay, because God wants us to be spiritual. So yeah, history is extremely fishy. The history, even in our lifetime, has been altered, you know, and that kind of thing of like different things like that. If we were to look up now, we're like, probably it's been changed, you know, to alter the who are the evil people and all that kind of stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if people could find examples now, you know, of our quote history being manipulated. You think we are in the time that the 144,000 are being sealed and that the Great Tribulation, second coming, are around the corner? Yes, correct. So I believe that I am one of the 144,000, which again, I say that, and it's outlandish, you know, whenever those words come out of my mouth, but I essentially have to say that now. I have no choice. And obviously I'm grateful if I am, but because I'm not deceived. Okay. And so this is a group that are not deceived. And so, and God was actively trying to deceive them. And I sense that from God, from my Heavenly Father, that he is trying to deceive me, but he's not anymore. He stopped. Like the record player stopped. And then I see the movie play clearly. And so that's why I believe that. Romans 11:7, what then? Israel had not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. And so the only real people on this earth are the elect. And so if you're out there and you feel like everybody's just an actor and they're not like a real person that you can talk to about everything, then you could be in that group, because that's the way I feel. And so this is the only group that are the real people on earth. Okay, everybody else, like it says here, are blinded. And some of them will even use that one eye symbolism in obviously in Hollywood and all that, but even in like the truth community. And so like Urban Gorilla, you know, who's part of Sakari, on his like banner on his YouTube channel, he'll literally have one eye symbolism and he'll use 33 and all that stuff. So they're telling us, you know, that they're just actors and they may be Israel, but they were blinded. Okay. And so the only real people, the quote stars of the show, are the 144,000, whether they know it or not, because they're the only real people on this earth. Okay. They're not limited in what they'll talk about. And they can't be limited ultimately because they'll know the truth. And so they're the only people that are free. And I'm free, you know, mentally, of course. And so because Christ says the truth will set them free. And so this is that's the claim that I make. And then that claim has a time limit. And so that's exciting, you know, for me personally, very, very exciting, because I'm going to be able to know soon, whether I am or I'm not. Because if anybody passes away, it doesn't mean that they're not on God's right-hand side, but they're not of the 144,000. Because every single one of those men are not going to pass away. Their eyes are blessed, okay, because their ears are blessed and they heard, and then they're going to see Christ return, in their body, okay. So that's the claim that I make, yes. And so the Great Tribulation and the Second Coming are one-to-one. And so when Christ returns and take away his elect and brings the two witnesses here, then that's when the Great Tribulation begins. And so the elect are saved out of tribulation. And then that's Great Tribulation. Okay. That's why my sequence videos are very, very important, to understand. Because I reaffirm that, over and over again. And so it's for me personally, it could not be more obvious, that that's the case. And you get that sequence everywhere. 2nd Ezra 15, for example, has that sequence. It's the same thing. Yeah, so 2nd Ezra 15, for example, if you read it, I would highly recommend people read the book of 2nd Ezra. It's amazing. 2nd Ezra 15:10, see, my people are being led like a flock to the slaughter. Okay, so they see that evil's coming, okay, in the not so distant future. But listen to this, I will not allow them to live any longer in the land of Egypt, which is modern day America, but I will bring them out with a mighty hand and with an uplifted arm, and will strike Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all its land. And so that's another prophecy that America is modern day Egypt, because Revelation 18 is the headquarters of these plagues. Okay, and then that's also proven in Revelation 11, which are the two witnesses. And so, like it says here, I will strike Egypt with plagues as before. So he's going to use the same character that he did before, Moses, and will destroy all of its land. And that's a prophecy for America. And so Ezra links up with Revelation, links up with Daniel, links up with all these books. Okay, there's not 10 different narratives of the end times. It's exactly the same. Okay, and that's what I've proven in my sequence videos. And so, and it's again obvious here. And so when Christ says here that I will bring them out with a mighty hand, is the same as Revelation 18:4, come out of her, my people. Don't be partakers of her sins and receive not of her plagues. And so Christ prophesies everywhere through the Bible of a pre-plague or pre-wrath rapture. Okay, and that's what I was told. One of the main things that I was told on January 1st, 2020, is that salvation will occur prior to wrath. And that's again consistent with the book of 1 Thessalonians 5:9, which says that God's elect are not appointed unto wrath. Okay, and then we're reaffirmed of that here in 2nd Ezra 15, and we're reaffirmed of that in Revelation 18:4, and we're reaffirmed of that in Revelation 3:10, that God's elect are exempt from the hour of temptation. And we're reaffirmed of that everywhere. Okay, and so this is salvation, but listen to this. So salvation occurs. And then if you read a little bit further down in 2nd Ezra 15, 19, people shall have no pity for their neighbors, but shall make an assault upon their houses with the sword and plunder their goods because of hunger for bread, and because of, listen to this, great tribulation. Okay. And so the elect have already been taken away. Okay. And so then what happens after that is great tribulation. And so that's the thing that other people like End Times Teacher and all that, the rest were blinded. Okay. And that's the bold claim that I make on my channel, because I see things in the Bible that no man has taught me. So I would highly recommend people brace yourself. Okay. If the Bible is true, Christ is going to return without a doubt very soon. So the sequence is everywhere. And I'm pretty sure 2nd Ezra 15 would be one of the videos that I made a sequence of the end times on. And then I'm seeing it in rap music and everywhere. It's amazing. It's just absolutely incredible that, it's God's DNA. And then he's giving us eyes to see, because blessed are our eyes to see it. And that's something that God decided. Yeah, so I've done sequence video a long time ago on 2 Ezra 15 because it obviously honors the sequence. And so so it's salvation, and then it's headquartered in America, like it says here, Egypt, the North Country, okay, in Jeremiah 31:8. And then after that begins a period of great tribulation. Awaken Pennsylvanian. What's up, man? The Toyota thing has to be the mark. Yeah. If they were like, hey, it's a chip, put it in your cells, most people would know that it is. Yeah, exactly. I mean, agreed. It can't be that, because then it would be just, I mean, even a lukewarm Christian, especially the ones here in Texas, they're obviously against this narrative, like to the death, literally. So you could recruit a lot of non-religious people to refuse the mark of the beast if it were a microchip. It's not the way. It would have never work. Okay. The reason is because there's too many Christians on earth. If there were like very, very few, like 50,000, then yeah, you could just, the rest of the world could force them to go along with the narrative, whether it be a microchip or whatever, but there's like billions of them. Okay. And like they're superstitious enough. I wouldn't even say religious enough. They're superstitious enough to not take a microchip. Okay. And the reality is you don't need a microchip. There's technology now where you can just take your hand and scan it over, a scanner, and then it'll read your fingerprints, and then you could pay that way. And then you don't actually have to touch anything, and then you don't have to have anything in your hand. And so it's a win-win for both sides. Okay. The one side doesn't want anything in their body because they worry that it's in the Bible. And then the other side doesn't want them to touch anything, to pass, the virus. And so you can just get a palm scanner, just, put your palm there, and then that technology exists. I put a video on that. So that's why, it's like you wouldn't need it, and both sides, they would be happy with that. Okay. And then the world would have a very, very logical, right now we don't have an alternative to this. Like, we can't say, oh no, I have a better thing, because like, what are we supposed to develop? But if they were to ever put something in there, they could be like, no, just I'll scan my palm and then we'll be fine, right? And put all the information that you want on my palm, and then I'll store whatever information you want, on the web, my certificates and, my credit card information. If that's what they wanted, okay, then you could just store it, and then it'll be relative to your palm print. And then it would actually be safer, because then you don't have to put a foreign substance in your body that could actually get infected, and then cause an infection, which would make the narrative worse. Okay. And so people will be like, no, I'm not like making it worse based on the fact that we have, a pandemic. Okay. So it's like that could be another pandemic. Okay. Of like the infected microchips. And so I want people to know God essentially is telling us with this chip shortage in the news, that's like coded language. Okay. That there's no chip. Okay. It's like God is like feeding those people lies to push that. And notice how everybody who's pushing it are all ball earthers. Okay. They're all liars. And End Times Teacher says it's 50-50, but and he's a flat earther. But pretty much everybody else either still doesn't know, or says that it's it's a microchip. Okay. Which is crazy. So I'm glad that AP, it's like the everyday average people, like Awaken Pennsylvania, we know what it is. Okay. And then the people below YouTube who make their comments, everybody knows. You say that it's the mark, and then you'll get like 100 likes. What's strange though is the people on YouTube, the quote Bible scholars, they don't know what it is. How come that's the case? Maybe someone can answer that in the chat. How come like Tahar, Ken Hovind, ETT, and all these people who claim to be Bible people, how come they don't know for sure? They say it's 50-50, it's the microchip. And, if you don't teach this, then you're a liar and evil. How come those people don't know what it is? Why is that? But we everyday average people, we know what it is. That's strange, isn't it? I argue that we are not in that time period, and I have evidence for it. I just wonder why you are so confident that we are in that time period. I would say I'm confident because first and foremost that I was sealed, and then second, the mark of the beast is out. And so if that were not the case, if one of those didn't happen for me personally, then I wouldn't be as confident. But obviously the mark of the beast has to be out for us to be in the end times. And that's, let me repeat the way that we need to word that for the elect would understand, is that it's anything that goes out worldwide that is required to buy and sell that violates one of God's laws. That's what the mark of the beast is. And so that's the criteria, and it has to be in the skin because of charagma. And so, that's, we have that. And so in the skin part is like basically like a cherry on top at this point. But fundamentally, anything that goes out worldwide that's required to buy and sell that goes against God's laws, we're supposed to refuse it. And then now we have something that is a charagma in the skin, and it fulfills dexios and kair, the word for hand, which is actually agency. So it fits everything. So if it's not, then the Bible's not true. And I would just say for people, rejoice on that, because for people, even I think WS is in the chat, we'll know very soon whether the Bible is true or not. And don't go based on my timeline exactly, but it's within like a year or 2 or 3 max is what I say. And so if this thing goes out and then it just goes unchecked by God visually in the sky, then the Bible's not true. Okay. Then you just go on and continue on with your life, and you don't have to worry about all the different Bible-based conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. So it's good news for both sides, people who love the Bible and people who hate it. So that's amazing. Have the 7 churches of Revelation slowly faded in time, or were they sealed and resurrected? I believe that those churches are actually symbolic. I don't believe they're literal congregations, because the church in Philadelphia is the church of the elect. And so, because if you read Revelation 3, they're exempt, from the hour of temptation. And so it's not like they had a church congregation in the past that was 144,000 men, that just happened to like sit in a room or something like that or whatever. They didn't have that kind of stuff. So these are symbolic of a group of people. Okay. And then Revelation 3, that's why it's in the book of Revelation, because it refers to the last days, and their characteristics. So Revelation 3:10, because you have kept the word of patient endurance, I will keep you from the hour of a trial that is coming on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. Verse 3, I am coming soon. Hold fast to what you have. That's in 3:11. 3 times 11 is 33. And so oftentimes Christ's second coming is in verses related to 33 or 666 or 66 or 18. So this group in the Church of Philadelphia, listen to this, I will make you a pillar in the temple of my God. And so when it says that in Revelation 11 that this group are worshiping, in the temple, it's because they are the temple. Okay. And so that's the language that was literally written at the beginning of Revelation 11:1. And that I was given a measuring rod like a staff. And I was told, come and measure the temple of God and the altar and those that worship therein, and come and measure, that's 144,000. Okay. And so that's God's elect that are the Church of Philadelphia, and then they're exempt from the hour of temptation. And so, that's what I would say to that. LOP's like Shrek. So maybe we are here right now suffering, obviously, a punishment because in our past lives we've done something wrong, evil, and this is our chance at redemption. I would say that that's very true, and then I would also leave open the possibility, just know that it's not always because of their past lives, because Moses and Elijah are righteous souls, but then they're going to be, chastised, and then, inflicted evil upon here for 1,260 days. And that's not because they've done evil in the past. It's because that God needs them to do that. It's their job. It's their role. And so, and the same obviously with Christ himself. And so, yes, but for us, okay, these are all judgments is a better word to say it, because a judgment can be positive or negative, or it could be neutral, something you have to see and then for God to use ultimately. So it's true, ultimately reincarnation is one of the variables that God uses to judge people, souls. Okay. And so, yeah, God would then be able to explain why we went through every single detail of our life and the exact time period. It started on this day, and then he set the watch, and then it ended on that day. And so all of this has been calculated and computed by the supercomputer of all supercomputers, okay, the Most High. And so I say that respectfully. So, yeah, this is this cycling of souls throughout human history is salvation when it stops, because You go back up to the Most High, and then obviously the elect do. And then when they return back to heaven. They don't return back to hell, which is what we live in now. And then that's salvation for God's elect. They're taken out of hell and they return back to heaven. But hell is here and heaven is also here. Okay. And it's going to be brought here. Okay. And the reason we're going to have heaven on earth is because the elect are going to be in charge. And they don't want to hear anything, any of your stupid opinions, if they're not consistent with God's laws. No one's gonna even have those ability to even change the narrative that God sets, because the elect are going to be the enforcers. Okay, and that's why I enforce those ideas now for you to get used to it. If I am one, and if I'm not, they're going to be even more strict than me. Okay, so if you don't like the way I operate, then how are you going to like the way they think? Okay, because they're gonna be even more picky, okay, than I am. So just get used to it. So either way. But that's what's happening. Okay. That's what we know now, according to the Bible. Mike Dornan's like, TMoG, what's up, man? Good to see you. I agree that there are people being sealed in this time and there are actors and dead zombies walking around everywhere. Okay, good. I agree with that. I just argue that we're all misunderstanding the time period that we're in. Well, we're going to see. Okay. There's no debate. Okay. When Christ appears in the sky. And it's going to be very, very clear, because there's no way the government can fake this. It's impossible for the government to fake what I'm about to read. And the thing that's something to consider is that a lot of us want this. So are we all just deceived, me and all the other people, obviously the elect? Are we the ones that are deceived because we're waiting for this? Why are there people worldwide who are all waiting for the same thing? With the same intensity? Their soul is complaining all the time. What, are we mentally deranged? Are we crazy? Okay. Or is God doing that to get us, to prepare us for what's about to happen? Revelation 1:7, we're going to see if we're crazy very, very soon. Behold, he cometh with clouds, these so-called UFOs, these chariots, the wheel within a wheel, Christ with a crown over his head, an arch, a golden arch. His vehicle is going to be special. Of course, we're going to know that that's Christ. It's going to be the biggest one, and it's going to have a golden arch. Okay, that's a metaphoric for his crown. Behold, he cometh with clouds. Okay, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him. And so those souls are back here on this earth right now, and they're doing the same thing that they did in those days. They're crucifying Christ, and they will be in the truth community. They could be high up in the truth community with a lot of subs. And all kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him, even so, amen. This verse also proves that when Christ returns, it's going to be bad news for a majority of the earth. Bad news. Why would that be if Christ returns, the God of the Bible of Christianity with billions of folk followers? Why would all kindreds of the earth wail because of him? Shouldn't 1/3 of the earth be happy? Oh, there's Christ. Okay, great. Okay, shouldn't there be peace on earth right after? No, it's going to be horrible news. The only people that it's good news for ultimately are the elect, because they've been sealed, and then the time was cut short for their sake. And so when they look up, they're, that old saying, just in the nick of time, then they'll know exactly who that is, and why they're here. Okay. And they're not going to want it to happen the next day. Oh no, do you mind coming back tomorrow? Okay, I'm a little busy today, and all that kind of. I don't mind. I got a meeting. I got a tee off time tomorrow. All they're going to say is get me the hell out of here. Okay, that's what they will say respectfully. Okay, get me the hell out of here. Okay, that's what I'm saying. What are you saying? According to Revelation 13, if we are in the time of the beast rising out of the earth and the mark of the beast, therefore the beast that continues through the course of the tribulation has to have. So that beast that rises up, if you read actually Revelation 11, it has a responsibility then to go and kill these two prophets. Okay, and then what I teach is that these two men are the men in Acts 1:10-11. And so that beast is alive and well when Christ returns to bring those two men here. And then this beast is also very, very active in Revelation 11. And so if you should understand, if you know my channel, Silver Bullet, that Revelation 11 hasn't happened yet. Okay. And so if you understand that and can at least accept that or consider that, then, just be aware of what I'm about to read right now. Revelation 11:7, and when they shall finish their testimony, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them. Okay. So what did you say? If we are in the time of the beast rising out of the earth, okay, let me read this. The beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit, okay, which is Revelation 9:11 reference, this quote, one world government, okay, they had a king over them. This quote, one world government, which hopefully you know that we are under one right now because of the flat earth and then this narrative going on now. That the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit shall make war against them and shall overcome them and kill them. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, where our Lord was crucified. That's in America. Okay. Like I read in 2nd Ezra earlier, the salvation experience is going to be focused here in America, in Egypt. Okay. And so that's proof that the beast is alive right now because of the flat earth, you know, the ball earth deception. And then this narrative that there's a one world government, this bottomless pit, the beast that ascendeth out of the bottomless pit. And so, and then it's going to have this ambition to kill God's two most esteemed prophets, Moses and Elijah. So that will, you know, disprove what you say. WS, welcome, man. Good to see you got time to be here. You don't have anything better to do. That's great. To oppose the Bible, even though the Bible is coming true right before our very eyes. So welcome. There is no mark of the beast. Okay, cool. People have foretold of its imminent coming for hundreds of years. It's just another. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to find out. Okay. Because it's going to be very clear what it is because of these verses. Okay. It's not going to be ambiguous what it is based on Revelation 14 and Revelation 16. Revelation 16:2, and the first one out and poured out his vial upon the earth. And so this is the wrath of God. These are the plagues. And so the elect have to be taken away prior to this. So first and foremost, Christ will appear and take away a group. And so then we'll know, you know, God exists, but then we don't know the mark of the beast officially until this happens. Revelation 16:2, and the first went out and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sore upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worship his image. Why is there two groups of people there? Because not everybody has taken it when this happens. And so that's going to be proof, because you're going to see a lot sores on billions of people. And it's going to be across the entire earth. And it's going to be after Christ's second coming. And so though that's undeniable at that point. And so your position is there is no mark of the beast. Well, I would just say, let's wait and see. Okay. And like I've said, end of 2023 is the absolute latest anybody should wait for Christ's second coming. Okay. The Bible's a joke after that. Okay. Laugh at it. Okay. Comic book alert and all that. So true. People have been saying it's imminent for even longer than potentially hundreds of years, maybe even thousands of years. And so just wait and see, man. Okay. Buckle up. And if it's not, then it's not. Okay. You know, it's going to be very clear. So don't worry. We're going to find out exactly what it is. And so are you. I would say at this point, I know what it is. Okay. No Chip, only Chip Douglas from the cable. Yeah, exactly. LOP, that's good, man. That's good that your eyes are open to see that, man. So it's clear, man. AP's on board with it too. And, you know, we know. Everyday average people, we know. But for some reason, some strange reason, I wonder if people understand why. The government shills, they don't know. The actors. Oh, wow. Okay. I wonder if there's something else going on. The world is a rotating globe. Oh, my God, dude. WS, you're in the wrong place, man. You've clicked on the wrong button. Okay. You're in the wrong chat. You just fair warning, you've entered the wrong room. Okay. Get the hell away from here. If you think that the earth moves, you're absolutely stupid. Oh, my God. 2021 and you believe you're on a spinning ball. That's absolutely unacceptable. You're stupid. I have nothing else to say if you believe that. So good luck, man. You basically have to just wish that the entire Bible is not true, even though we see it coming true right before our very eyes. WS, dude, I'm an engineer. Okay. I've been in this debate for years and you're just an idiot. And so I know exactly what's going on. You guys don't have a clue what the hell you're talking about. All you people are stupid. Just like the people in the flat earth are also stupid. You guys don't operate in any kind of rigor or completeness. And so you people are just dumb. Okay. I dismiss both sides as stupid. Okay. I'm going with what the Bible says. Okay. And so I don't believe either side, because the ball earthers and flat earthers are stupid. And so, no, we don't have free will. Okay. That's not what the Bible teaches. And that's not what we're experiencing, because there's many people that are locked down right now and they don't want to be locked down. Okay. So that also disproves that we have free will. And so all you free will truthers out there are going to find out very, very quickly how little free will you have. Okay. And we're going to laugh because you people are stupid. Look at people conned even though they can take measurements. And yeah, the earth doesn't move, man. You're in the wrong place, man. If you're talking about the ball earth right now, we've already shown all the optics and all that kind of stuff. It's simple. Okay. Objects disappear bottom up across a flat surface. Okay. Across any surface because of limits of angular resolution. Okay. You probably don't even understand what I just said because you're an idiot, but that's fine. Even if the Bible was not true, I would not want to live in it. Yeah, exactly. LOP. That's my thinking as well. I'm glad you brought that up, is that the earth is hell either way. I would say potentially the earth is more hell if the Bible's not true, because then you have people like me who are masquerading around as, oh, I care about others and I'm the elect and yada, yada, yada. But we're the evil ones. We're listening to a voice from up there, la la land. And then we're the ones that are liars. Okay. And we actually hate other people. We're getting in the way of real progress. And so if the Bible's not true, then there's more evil on the earth. And then I'm a part of it, a big part of it throughout my life, because I've been spending many, many years reading it. So it's more hell if it's wrong. Okay. If it's right and true, then the earth is hell. And it's going to be increased in severity right up until it gets burned with fire. So that's true. I think they're about to stage a second coming via alien invasion and get us ready to fight against the camp of the saints, which we know is in the center of the earth. That's funny. That's ridiculous. Who's they? We know who they is, Silver Bullet. So you might also be in the wrong place. You can write whatever you want, but we know they is God. So anybody that comes by my channel and says, oh, they're evil, they're doing this, I know you're just an actor. Okay. So just, you're tagged. Okay. TMoG has tagged you when you come by. To this day, with all the videos that I've taught on this, they is God. Okay. If you haven't figured that out now, and we know that now. So just because you don't know it doesn't mean that it's not true. So God is doing this. Okay. God is identifying his left-hand side for them to be burned. Ultimately, first to get sores, like I read in Revelation 16, and then to burn them. According to Revelation 14, Isaiah 45:7, I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, the Lord, do all these things. Okay. So I guess, Silver Bullet, what are you talking about? They? Who's they that's going to stage an alien invasion or what are you talking about? We live on a globe. Okay. Sound good, man. Yeah. WS, you do live on a globe because you live in La La Land because you're stupid. What you are reading already happened long ago. It seems like we are in the time because we are, except it's the one that rose out of the earth who's deadly. Yeah, that deadly wound was healed. It's just talking about the power structures that have existed in the past that God is ultimately bruised, but then they're back here on this earth again through reincarnation. So that's what it means, and then ultimately the leadership that's in America have led other nations in the past. And so it's the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun. It's a verse that supports reincarnation, one of the many. So I would say that, if you're unsure, okay, we're going to see it. Like I read in Revelation 1:7. So the Bible's truth, the next thing that's coming for the world is Christ's second coming. And there's no prophecies that are remaining. And so if you're a doubter about the Bible, that's fine. There's still hope for you. But, God will prove it. And then if you don't believe that this is hell, and then God will prove it. And if you don't believe that the earth is flat, God's going to prove it to you. And if you don't believe that fire in the Bible means fire, then God will prove it to you. Okay. And if you don't believe that God's behind the plagues, then he's going to show you on your skin, that he's really going to come through with what he said. And so just hang in there. Okay. And then, like I said, if I am of the elect, then Christ will return 3, 4, 5. I'm planning to sell my car, so I might be able to squeeze out 2 months from that, maybe. But I'm not gonna be on YouTube teaching, but I may be around for like a month or two next year. But that's it. Okay, so that's the timeline that I'm looking at for if I am one of the 144,000. Christ has to return during that time, and he could return anytime prior to that, because if any of the other ones throw in the towel, then it's over. He'll return that minute. So based on the directive of the Most High, because the Most High interacts with 144,000 men on this earth, and we would be his symbolic representative thermometers. And he's asking us all the time, hey, what's the temperature over there? And then we complain. And then he asks us the next day, hey, what's it like over there? And like we complain. He asks us the next day and we complain. And we're complaining all the time. And it's just like, it's like a dad who you have in your house and all your kids are complaining. Dad, why don't you turn the temperature down? Why don't you turn the temperature down? It's too hot here or whatever. Eventually the dad will just cave in, you know, and then just give the kids what they want. And so I am crying out continually to my Father, which is in heaven. And I know that's offensive to all you retards that come by my channel, but I don't care. People are stupid. You guys love it here. And then we hate you because you love it here because you're stupid. 2 Ezra 15:8, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit. Neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. Okay, so God asked me every hour, I'm going to say, I hate it here. Okay, and I'm not going to change my tune, and it's not getting any better. And it's made worse by you dum-dums coming by my channel saying we live on a globe, okay, in 2021 when there's so many flat earth proofs, and you morons have the nerve to come onto my live stream focused on religious people, Bible-based people, and bring your stupid ball earth. You mentally retarded idiots. You people are stupid. I hate this place. You dummies don't even know how to take measurements, okay? Like you retards don't even understand what's going on, okay? You guys think that there's such a thing as infinite refraction, which is stupid. And so you're mentally deranged. More and more reason why I don't want to be here. I don't need any more reasons. But that's it. If you genuinely believe the earth moves, WS, then if you genuinely believe that and you're not just a government shill, which is clear that you are, then you're completely retarded. We've already shown, I have a full video on my channel of the black swan that shows that you dummies, when you see that kind of thing, you have to quote infinite refraction. Cite that, which is stupid. Okay, what the hell does infinite refraction mean, you dummies? You people are stupid, man. Can't believe how dumb the earth is. People don't even know what shape of earth that we're on, and then they want us to get happy about being here. And then they want us to go and take this to stay here longer, to be around you degenerates. Are you kidding me? Hell no. Literally, hell no. You people are all stupid and you don't have a clue what the hell's going on, okay? The only people that have a clue that's going on are the elect, the 144,000. And they're not going to be teaching that the earth is a spinning ball like Tahar does because he's stupid. Damian Logan, look at this grammar. You, like with a U, can't be one of the 144K because you're a heathen. Yet you, okay, have no problems constantly calling PPL, people, dumb, etc. Period. Duh. Exclamation, exclamation. Damian Logan, thank you for coming by, man. That's such a. Let me put this up just so people look at this. Look at that. Just read that. Okay. These are the people that we have on this earth. Look at the grammar, the spelling, the sentence structure. Look at this. Oh my God. It's so finished, man. These dumbos walk around talking about how they're the chosen and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but you don't even know how to write a freaking sentence properly, you ding dong. Don't come by here, man. You stupid idiot. You're so dumb. WS, my life is being ruined having to listen to you morons who don't even know how to take measurements, don't know what a unique solution is, don't know what rigor is, don't have any idea what the hell is going on. And then you morons who don't talk about any other evils of the government or any of them expect us to believe that you're just everyday normal people. Are you kidding me? You people are terrible actors. Okay. Really? You guys have chosen the flat earth as the one evil to go after when there's all these other evils happening in the world? The flat earth is the one you're going to focus on? Are you kidding me? Like, again, just terrible actors. Go on with your life. We're in hell, though, according to the Bible, WS, you clown. We're all dead here, you stupid idiot. Go away. Look at this. Look at this. What is this? Oh my God, dude. This is amazing, dude. We have people who come by my channel claiming to be the chosen people, and they communicate with like emojis. This is absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say. I mean, there's no reason why anybody should want to be here unless you're mentally deranged, because this is the place that should be called not Earth, but it should be called I don't know. Because you go to somebody and you ask them things, they'll be like, I don't know. Okay, it's like, well, what about this? I don't know. What about that? I don't know. Okay, so all you get, this place should be called I don't know. Because all these people don't know. Damien, let me ask you, you dummy. What's the mark of the beast? Let's see, and don't answer it in emojis because I know that you like that. What's the mark of the beast, you dum-dum? Let's see if Damien Logan knows. Okay, let's see how smart these people are. These people are completely moronic. Speak truth. Now you guys are making me go to my YouTube watch page and ban you just because you guys are stupid. So just trying to have a relaxing little hangout. Okay, just kind of do my thing. And then now I have to go and block people. See, that's not good. I'm scared of stupid people. Okay, I'm not scared of you dum-dums. I'm scared of being around stupid people because I don't know what else you dum-dums are capable of. So that's what I'm afraid of, ultimately, at this point. So you guys got to go. Let's see. No point in explaining that to you. The understanding of our scriptures has not been given to you because you're a WS heathen. Listen to this. Look at this grammar. Look at this Dumbo. That's amazing. Read that. If anybody understands. Dude, who's typing your messages for you, Damien? Who's typing these messages for you, man? Why are you using the word you? Why can't you type YOU? Is that a big issue for you? Why are heathens bringing out truths then? How come you don't know these truths then? How come you don't know who the two witnesses are? How come you don't know the shape of the earth? How come you guys don't know these things then? Okay, what's going on then if an Elamite, quote unquote Elamite, is running circles around you? Why did Rob Skiba, who's a quote unquote Edomite, why did he prophesy what the mark of the beast was in 2013? What's going on with you, man? And why are you typing like you literally have like a third grade education? Okay, so what's the mark of the beast? Let's hear it. Like, break it down for us. We'll wait to hear what Damien says. He said it's our scriptures, the understanding of our scriptures. Okay, good. Perfect then. Okay, we have a candidate here for the elect. So let's hear the understanding of our scriptures. Okay, just explain to us first the mark of the beast, and then explain to us who the two witnesses are. Let's see, man. I don't see any typing yet. Let's see. What else? What do people know? What is the mark of the beast then? Does anybody else know? He said the understanding of our scriptures has not been given to the heathen. Okay, good. So let's hear it, man. That's pretty shocking. Oh, well, it is what it is. Okay, great. Thanks for that. So this is Damian Logan's response to he doesn't, these people don't know anything. Okay, that's why, again, I stand by what I typed earlier. Okay, this is what the earth should be called. The new name of the earth, according to TMoG, is called, the earth should be called I don't know. Where did this narrative come from? I don't know. Okay, what's the shape of the earth? I don't know. What's the mark of the beast? I don't know. Okay, what's this and that? I don't know. Okay, so that's all you can say. I don't have itching ears. I owe you, again, just the letter U, no answers. I already told you that the understanding of our scriptures has not been given to heathens like you. Listen, look at this. Look at this. Man, if these are our Bible scholars, then what's the point of the Bible? Okay, because it's a useless book. Because look who's claiming to be the scholars. Look at what they're typing. I just asked you a simple question, okay, and so you're supposed to be prepared to give an answer. I asked Tahar about the two witnesses, and he's like, "Go fly a kite," okay, and it's like, well, then that just proves that you don't know, okay, and so God's elect say yes means yes and no means no. They just say it, okay, and that's it. They don't add anything onto that. No theater, and so that's what it is. Okay. And so it's very, very clear to me that the two witnesses are indeed, the two men in Acts 1:10-11, and then it's only been given to a certain people to understand. And that's just what it is. Okay. And then that's why Damian Logan and all these people are finding out that their ministry and then the people that they followed, for many years and trusted, are their entire ministry is a fraud. And that's no different, it's no different with Ken Hovind, Pastor Anderson, obviously Joel Osteen and all these people. So, their ministries are a fraud. Okay. And then that's alarming, and that's bad news. That's why, again, the Bible is very, very bad news. And it's bad news for me if what I teach is not true. And so the main comfort that I have is that if what I teach is not true, the Bible is not true, because it's obvious what I teach and it's been confirmed everywhere. So I don't worry, or anything like that. So a lot of people should be worried, and that's why Damian Logan is here, because they're worried, and that's why I've noticed Tahar and all them are reading more of the verses that we know now, like 2nd Ezra and the remnant and the two witnesses, they're bringing it out more because they're realizing that, they're being lied to, their congregation. Because those lies from, GMS, Sakari and all that, and End Times Teacher, it's not going to help them when their company is mandating that. Okay, that they're going to have no answer for you. They're not going to be able to help you or get you out of that or anything like that. Now all people can do is rely upon God. That's the only option. And so because Tahar and them can't bail you out of that, or Sakari or Damian Logan or any of the other ding-dongs. And so every day, there's going to be more and more pressure for every American, if you live in America, which I read is the headquarters of salvation when I read in 2nd Ezra, Babylonian, Egyptian, whatever you want to call it, Sodomite. Okay. And so that country is now going to be forcing that more and more every single day. Hey, show us your paper, show us your proof of that before you can come back to the office and all that kind of stuff. What's Tahar going to do to help you with that? Okay. What's Damian Logan going to do? He's going to come here with his emojis. Okay. Oh, don't worry. Let me put 10 emojis. That'll comfort you. All that kind of stuff. You'll be okay. What's that going to do? What's the spinning ball earth going to do for you at that point? It's not going to do anything. Okay. The only thing that can do something for you is the God of the Bible and the truth of it. And so God demands that the people that worship him in spirit and in truth. Okay. And these people are not spiritual, because Damian Logan's just one example of the trolls that I get. They will not go and examine the claims that I make on my channel. Okay. They won't. And so they'll just come here and say, oh, you're an Edomite or an Elamite or a heathen and yada, yada, yada. Okay. And so that's all they can do. And once they resort to name calling, I know that I'm on to something. I don't need to do it at this point. I just subscribed to Tahar's channel because End Times Teacher sent me a video. And then I just, caught a little bit of it. And so, I just posted my comment in case somebody else sees it. And he left it there, which is good for others to see, And then that's why I went on Sakari's live stream, just to let other people know that, if I am of the elect, then we've been sealed. We know who the two witnesses are and what to look out for, in the sky. And so the understanding of the Bible is only given to the elect. Okay. And I'll put my backup channel here, and I'll look and wait for Damian Logan to comment on it, whenever he has time, when he's, done trolling here. I put all my backup, on my backup channel, I put all the sequence videos together, and let's see if that he'll debunk this. Because it's his scriptures, right? Go sub to that channel, Damien, and debunk that. Okay, let's see you do it, man. Good luck. So I haven't heard anybody have a peep over there. Okay, not a peep, just a few people who I'm glad they're over there looking, and going through them, saying, hey, interesting or whatever. But no Bible person's gotten over there. Why is that? There's 150 or so proofs of what God told me in the Bible, in the Apocrypha, in rap music, and in movies. How come that's the case? Why do people come here and waste time asking me about nonsense, but no one goes over there? Why is that? I'm asking anybody, in the chat. How come that's why? What do I make of that as a person who's shared that information and proven it, very, very clearly? Numerology, across the scriptures, even in the Apocrypha, all that. So what do I make of that? Okay, so what do I view all these other people then, who are here? Sakari's deacon made you look like an imbecilic, deceitful WS heathen. Okay, that you are, despite me not being a One West alphabet camper. Sakari doesn't even know what the shape of the earth is, according to him. When End Times Teacher went on his channel, he said, I don't know. It could be flat, it could be a ball. He's like, I don't know. And so how did Sakari make me look like a heathen or an imbecilic person when he doesn't know what the physical surroundings that he's on? So how's that possible? Okay, I know that I'm on a flat stationary earth. Okay, and so so right from the get-go, explain to me, how did he do that? Okay. This is a good verse. John 3:12. Okay. If I have told you earthly things and you believe not, how shall you believe if I tell you of heavenly things? So how can people who don't even understand their physical surroundings then go and articulate what's going to happen in the heavens, with the angels and, Christ returning and all that? So how is that possible? Okay. And so that's John 3:12. Okay. And so 3 times 12 is 36, 666. That's things on this earth. Okay. On this flat plane that we live on. And so that's the issue, with these quote unquote religious people, is that they're just actors. Okay. And then when you go and speak outside of somebody else's script, like I'm doing with my teaching, and, then they get angry. Okay. Because they are not even given earthly truths. Okay. And obviously Sakari knows that it's flat. So I'm not saying that he doesn't. So he's just an actor. Okay, we know that he's an actor. Okay, and so Tahar's an actor, and it's clear Damian Logan's an actor, and all that. So because they get angry, that's not a normal reaction. If somebody, like, for example, teaches something that's like better than what I'm teaching, I don't get angry. I get excited. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, I can go and learn from that person. And I'm like, wow, okay, then I'm closer to the truth now, and I get excited. Okay, and I'm like, that's great. I don't go and like get mad at them or whatever and stuff. And so I'll take what they're learning and then move on, and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what any normal person would do. Okay, and that's what the Bible says we should do in the book of Sirach. And so I'll read that verse. That's what a normal person would do. Okay, in Ecclesiasticus 21:15, if a skillful man hear a wise word, he will commend it and add unto it. Listen to this. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, okay, it displeaseth him. Okay, it displeases him, and he casteth it behind his back. Okay, throws it away. Okay, and so that's why Christ says you have to have an ear to hear. Okay, because if you don't, then if you hear the truth, it's going to displease you. Okay, and so that's what's happening. That's what I see everywhere. Okay, because if Tahar, for example, his congregation told him that the earth is flat and stationary, and they know it now, and they were to go teach him that, because he should be open to learning like any humble leader. But he's like, no, instead he'll kick them out. He'll kick them out for the truth. So what does that make Tahar? And then what does that make End Times Teacher, who will come and defend him? They're both Satanists. Okay. And so, but what the Bible says here, that, if a skillful man hear a wise word, oh, wait, what'd you say? Okay, then they'll consider it. Okay. He will commend it, and then he will add on to it. He'll build off of it. Okay. But as soon as one of no understanding heareth it, it displeaseth him. Okay. And he casts it behind his back. Yeah, throw it away. Don't need that. Okay. And that kind of thing. And so that's what I see everywhere. Okay. And I don't need this at this point. It's just kind of funny, when these people come by and, just start saying things or whatever. Like, I find it funny, but that's why they're like that. That explains it completely. What's going on with these quote unquote Hebrew Israelites, which are essentially the 501c3 church 2.0. Listen to this. Look at this grammar. Okay, look, check this out. Look at this guy, Damian Logan. Like, what's your level of education, man? How far along the Esau's indoctrination have you gotten, man? He didn't teach you how to write sentences properly. Look at this. Wow, that's amazing. That's special. Where there is truth, evil follows it to sow confusion and discredit. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Okay, how would we know what the truth is unless there were lies? Just as when Peter was preaching, Simon the magician was right there behind him sowing discord. Yeah, I mean, it's their natural reaction, because their father is the father of lies. And so when they hear truth, it makes them angry. And so when I hear truth, I like it. I'm excited. Okay, whatever it is. And so that's the way we're wired. Okay, and that's the way the Israelites are wired. When they hear truth, which represents Christ, then they like that, and they want him to visit. And he did visit them multiple times. Okay, and so Christ can only visit them if they love the truth, because he's the truth. And so they want to receive him. Okay, but these people, all they want are lies. You naturally despise the true Israelites, like all WS heathens do. And so I'm not a white supremacist or a brown supremacist or a Chinese supremacist or an Indian supremacist. Okay, I believe the Most High is supreme. Okay, so I'm a Most High supremacist. Okay, label me like that, and then that's what it is. Okay, and his son is supreme, and that's amazing. And so I just despise you. Okay, we know you're not a real Israelite because you don't know anything. Okay, if you actually knew something, then you would teach it. So just teach us then. Okay, if you know something, then what's the mark of the beast? I've asked you many times. Why not just type it It's my chat. No, I don't care what happens to this stream. Just type it in the chat. What you think it is. What are you teaching that it is? Let's hear what he says. SKS is like, can you believe these idiots? These are the two witnesses. If they're the two witnesses in the Bible, my Bible is going in the toilet. Okay. And I'm going to set it on fire. And let's see if the water wins or the fire wins. I don't know. Okay. Well, it'll be fun to see which one happens, what happens. But I would burn my Bible. Okay. I would actually burn it here on this live stream. If Tahar, GMS, or End Times Teacher, or Sakari, or the fulfillment of Revelation 11. That chapter is sacred. The whole book is sacred. Okay. And no, the two witnesses are not a bunch of rapping baboons. Okay. Stealing people's blunts. Okay. Like Sakari is, and saying that, oh no, he loves his people so much. Yeah. If you love them, why didn't you destroy it? Okay. He's obviously going to give that back to him after he's done videotaping that little charade. And then these dum-dums want us to think that that's his love for his people. Okay. In one of his raps, he's like, he used to sell crack to pregnant women. He admits that in his rap. And then now instead of crack, he's selling masks to his people. Okay. So he could rewrite that whole rap song and then say, now I just sell masks to pregnant women. Okay. And then they expect us to believe that they're the two witnesses and it's our scriptures and all that kind of stuff. Are you kidding me? You people are absolutely stupid, man. Absolutely mental. I go by any GMS or Hebrew Israelite camp and they will not say a word to me. They're not going to say a word. Okay. Because they know that they're actors. Okay. They will not say a single thing. And then you people are soft as a marshmallow, man. You don't know a single thing. And then once we speak truth, okay, then you just run away. Okay. You just scurry along your little way. Okay. Because you people are dumb. You don't know anything. Tahar is one of you, okay? Because you're all actors and liars, so you're all together, man. You're all stupid. Don't worry about that. I at least have a shot at salvation being a true Israelite, and both of my parents are so-called black. You, on the other hand, well, that's good, man. Okay, good luck to you, dude. Okay, good. So you got the pedigree. So I guess we're gonna see. So why are you here? Okay. If you're so confident in your salvation, why are you coming to a quote unquote heathen or white supremacist or whatever you called me, Indian supremacist? Why are you here? Okay. If you're so sure about your salvation, why are you here? Okay. If you are an Israelite, then you should be able to prophesy. According to that verse that I read earlier, if you're part of the elect, then you must have obtained it. And so if you've obtained it, then I'm just asking you a very simple question. What's the mark of the beast? Romans 11:7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it. Okay. And the rest were blinded. Okay. So if you're part of that election, then you should be able to tell us what the mark of the beast is. And just instead of typing all that emotional stuff that you're typing in with very, very poor spelling and grammar and sentence structure, just take a few words to tell us what the mark of the beast is. Okay. God reveals his secrets, okay, to his friends, to the prophets, okay. There's nothing wrong with his keyboard. He's just an idiot. Okay, don't worry about that, Silver Bullet. He's just mentally deranged. Amos 3:7, surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets. Okay. And so he will not do nothing until he revealeth his secrets. And what is one of the things that is going to come up is the wrath of God. And so he will not do that until he tells his servants, okay, which is his elect in Revelation 7. And so that's the claim that I'm making on my channel, that I was sealed. And so I can tell you the date. I can tell you what I was told. And then I'm going to give exclusive credit to God for that. And so that's a secret. Okay. One of the secrets that I was told is that the two witnesses are the two men in Acts 1:10-11. And so If that's true, then I would be in this group. Okay. I'd be one of his servants. And then I would be an Israelite. Okay. And then that's amazing, and so it doesn't matter what color my parents are or anything like that. Okay. It doesn't make a difference. It just matters whether I was sealed or not. And so that's just what it is, man. So Damien, I guess, man, yeah, Mike's asking, are you okay? Are you all right, man? You're having like a fit on my comment board. And here in Houston, man, it's a beautiful Sunday afternoon. I don't know where you are, but why are you here, man? You could be doing anything else. I guess I'm wondering, why are you here? Okay. You don't have anything better to do? That's kind of sad. Why don't you go fire up a live stream and go teach? Okay. If you're the chosen, okay, and you're a so-called African-American, which I do believe the so-called Negroes are the biblical Jews. I was told that. Okay. I don't believe that because Zabak said that. I believe that because God told me that. Okay. And I don't believe that because you come here and act like an idiot. Okay. And don't even want to spell anything. Okay. You're making it harder for people to believe that by coming here and being stupid. What do you think about Amish people? Are they smarter or more holy than most, or no? I would say something that I thought of recently I might do a lesson on is Mother Teresa. Okay. People would say, Mother Teresa is very, holy and all that, and she lived a simple life and helped others, but she was affiliated with the Catholic Church, which we know is very, very evil. And so that stains and perverts any righteous thing that she might have done for the poor. And that's the same with the Amish, because I'm assuming some of them will be tied to the Bible, and then they're obviously not going to teach the Bible, properly, because I believe only the elect can. And so a lot of people have lived humble, simple lives, pious lives, but if they're not pushing the correct doctrine of the Bible, the truth of the Bible, then they fall into that category, like I read in Romans, then they were blinded because only the elect have obtained it. Okay. And like I read earlier, it's not because of their righteousness, it's because they were chosen. It's not because of their skin color or anything like that. It's a group within Israel that are chosen. And you can number them. It's 144,000. And so Christ said many righteous people have wanted to see what they've seen and hear what they've heard, but that group is chosen. Okay. And so what I was told is that when Christ was taken away, we would have saw two men there if I was there during that time. And then when Christ returns, we're going to see the same thing. And so then I would be one of Christ's, quote, inner circle. And so that's why I defend him, until the last breath that's in my body. Look at this sentence structure. Okay. You can just sense that this person is very angry. Okay. And I don't want you to be angry, Damien. It's not good for me. It's not good for you. I just don't want you to be angry, man. So if hearing me talk makes you angry, then it's better to just go somewhere else. Okay. Because first of all, why are you writing all these words like jumbled together? And how much more effort is it for you to write the word you instead of just typing the letter? Like, how much more effort is that to do that? That's sad. I need a good laugh from time to time. I'm in captivity under y'all heathens. Remember, then again, you're not that smart. Why are we then teaching you truth? Why is Rob Skiba, who's a quote unquote heathen, why did he prophesy the mark of the beast in 2013? And, telling you the truth. Why is Russian Vids, who's a quote unquote Edomite, why is he teaching the flat earth? Why is a quote unquote Elamite teaching you about the two witnesses? Why is that? What's going on? Or is Israelites not just you? Okay. Maybe you need to think about that. Maybe you should go and read this verse, after you get off of the tantrum that you're throwing here. Why don't you go read Jeremiah 31:8? And then you'll get a sense of what God's elect look like. Listen to this. Damien, this is for you. Jeremiah 31:8. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, okay, Egypt, North America, and gather them from the coasts of the earth. Okay. And with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travaileth with child together, a great company shall return thither. Why don't you explain to us what that means, and that shall return thither? And then why does it say, gather them from the coasts of the earth? You're the Israelite. Why don't you teach us? Okay. That means that God's elect are in all nations. So they're going to look like all people. They could very well be Chinese. They could be what I am, East Indian. They could be Pakistani. They could be Australian, European, African. And of course, in America, of course, where the Jews are. I'm not denying that you are a Jew, if you're a quote unquote African American. I affirm that is true because God told me that. Silver Bullet's like, hey, TMoG, did you, let me actually post a video in the chat while I'm talking about that. This is a scholar, of Semitic religions, telling us, that so-called Negroes are indeed Israelites. Okay, they're the Jews of the Bible. And so I ask anybody else who doesn't accept this, why is this person teaching that? He's not a quote-unquote African American. Watch this video. It's only 2 minutes long. Why is this person stating that that the so-called Negroes are Jews, are Israelites? And he's an expert on, those religions, Shemitic religions. And so, people should consider, what their quote unquote savior looks like. So I would highly recommend people just watch that video. You don't need salvation from us, you dummy. You need salvation from God, okay? Because God has put anybody into any kind of slavery or enslavement, and you haven't figured that out, even though you retards teach that, okay? You stupid clown. Don't come here and set us back another day, you dummies, talking about Esau's the devil and all that kind of stuff. God put you in slavery, you dummy. And God put all of us into some form of enslavement, okay, if you haven't figured that out yet. And so that's what the Bible says everywhere, okay? So if you haven't figured that out, then you are incredibly stupid, okay? You're absolutely stupid. And so I don't know what to say. And anybody who accepts enslavement that goes against God's laws, they're what I call an actor. Like you, it looks like. And so that's what I know, okay? And that doesn't matter whether it's today, tomorrow, or yesterday, or 1,000 years ago. It's the same thing. And so, but the elect are the type who will not accept any form of enslavement. Okay. I'm in captivity having to listen to you come here and be stupid and listen to you bird brain Israelite actors dance around the scriptures like you don't even, like you're pretending like you don't know what it says when you obviously do know, and just saying, oh, I don't know what the shape is. Well, I don't know what the mark of the beast is. I don't know. That's all you guys say. You don't know anything. Okay. And so, yes, I am in captivity because I have to listen to you stupid people. Silver Bullet's like, hey, TMoG, did you physically hear the voice of the Father in January? Was that experience like exactly? Okay, I would describe it as like a neutral voice that's, it's not me that's saying it. It's not my idea, because I do have that voice telling me, hey, what about this? Brainstorming in my own mind. And I know it's a thought that I, seeded. The reason I know that it wasn't me is because it came abruptly on that day in the morning. And so it's, and then I was told to go read the Bible at a time that I'm not like, it's not like that I never read the Bible, but I was told to go and open it, and then go to these chapters, and then it was pieced together. And so once I was given those clues that Revelation 11 and 16 are in parallel, and then, those two men are not here yet. Okay. And so then I knew that anybody else who's teaching the two witnesses, that they're the two witnesses, or it happened in history, that's false. And so I would describe it as like a neutral, but concrete. It wasn't uncertain or anything like that. It was, that is that, this is this, that is that. Okay. And then that's it. And then that's all you ultimately need, actually, really, to unlock the book of Revelation. The most important thing is to know that Revelation 11 and 16 haven't happened yet, and they're running in parallel. And I was told that this is a question that I did have prior to this, that day, that I didn't have an answer to until now, is that during that time, the gospel is going to be preached, according to Revelation 14:6, by angels, not by these monsters, okay, that come by here and don't even know how to type a sentence, barely have understanding of English, and then they want to go to all these other lands and preach the gospel. Okay, that's absolutely not the way it's going to be. It's going to be what the Bible says. Okay. And so that's offensive to them, because they're like, oh, wait a minute, your whole ministry was a fraud. No, your ministry was a fraud because you're in charge of attempting to deceive the elect. But the elect are not deceived. And the reason they're not deceived is because they were sealed. And then that's what I believe happened to me on that day. And so I can't be deceived anymore, because I'm going to tell you and anybody else who asks, the living God told me this. It's not, I thought of this and TMoG came up with this. I'm going to say the living God told me this. I'm going to tell you the day. And then, like I said, it's in that neutral voice. It's not my voice. I know the ideas that I come up with. Okay, it's not funny, but a lot of them are not good. Okay, they're not righteous. That was a righteous voice. Okay. And it was very clear, what I was being told. And then after that, I was given that, I was also told in that same voice, go look for that sequence everywhere. And I've taken that literally. I look for it everywhere in the Bible and the Apocrypha and movies and music, and I see it everywhere. I see it. And I see confirmation of it even here in the chat, because when I teach it, the people that it goes against, they get angry. They don't consider it. Hey, maybe. Okay. No, they get angry. Okay. And so if the Bible makes you angry, then you're Antichrist. And so that's the way it is. Okay. And then I don't need that at this point. I know that if the Bible is true, then that sequence is what the Bible is stating is going to happen. So, I know that at this point. And so it's just, again, a lot of it is just to sort of pass the time, that kind of thing. So that's what it is. Certainly not a white supremacist. I'm not a brown supremacist. I find everybody stupid, including you, Damien. Anybody who's wearing a mask or going along with this, and that's people of all colors, okay? And so all of them are stupid, okay? And Sakari, I've seen Tahar, I've seen End Times Teacher, all of them are wearing masks, okay? So I'm like, you people are dumb. How can you be of the elect when you're wearing a mask? First of all, that goes against Job 9:24. And then how can you be of the elect if you're worried about dying? The elect are not going to die. So they're not going to be worried about any disease or anything, or virus. Job 9:24, the earth is given to the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. The Bible's like, if not where and who is he? It's like it's obvious. It's obvious, okay? And so that's strange. It's obvious to me, but it's not obvious to Sakari. Really, that's weird. An End Times Teacher. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what Job 9:24 is talking about. No, it's not the mask, but good one though, and all that. Okay, you expecting us to believe that you're not an actor? That's ridiculous. You're the enemy of the Almighty. I'm the enemy of your God. Okay, that's for sure. So your God, your Yahweh Bahashem. Okay, your God, yes, is against my God. And then let's see who wins, man. If you win, man, I'm not going to complain. Good luck, man. I wish you well, man. Maybe. Okay, so why are you here, man? No worries. Okay, if you're so sure that you're a candidate and you're the Israelite and all that, then why are you here? Okay, I'm not worried anymore after I believe that I was sealed. I'm just kind of passing the time. So what's going on, man? Oh, dude, Mies Kang, dude, good to see you, man. What's up, man? It's been too long, man. One of the smarter people that I've interacted in my life, man. The Mies Kang, man. Shout out, dude. Those were fun hangouts, dude. Hope you're doing well. I'm just kind of like taking out my bad mood on people in the chat. So that's what's happening. In case you're new to this live stream, but shout out Ali B too, man. If he's around, we've been looking for you, man. of the two people that I've come across in the truth community, I enjoyed interacting, with all the times with Ali B and the Mies Kang, who's there in the chat. Smart people. Unlike Damien, who's just emotional. Okay, so let's see what else these people are saying, man. I got to go hit balls in like an hour. I'm going golfing. Okay, Mike Dornan's like, you've seen it. That's good, man. So that's a stumbling block for a lot of people. So that's good that you've seen it, and that's what it is. Christ is a so-called black man. And I'm not ashamed of any aspect of the God of the Bible. Not a single thing. Never in my life would I be ashamed of that God. Never. Okay. Whatever the Bible says, I'm with it. 100%. It's one thing to recognize who we truly are. Nevertheless, what's up with your treatment? Dude, I'm treating you poorly, man. I've said numerous times to people in my personal life, and I've tried to convince them that they are the chosen people. And even once recently with somebody that I knew a little bit better, and they don't respond. I'm like, hey, this is a golfing friend that I've known for a little while now. I'm like, do you know that, you could potentially be an Israelite, and God's chosen, and then they don't reply. I'm not asking for money. Okay. I'm not asking for him to pat me on the back. I'm telling him that he could be God's chosen people, and they don't reply. Some actually will get angry at me and say, what are you talking about? what they'll get mad at me for telling them that they're chosen. Okay. It's not me saying I'm chosen. Look at me and all that stuff. I'm putting a spotlight on myself. I'm telling them they could be a Jew, a chosen, and they get mad at me. Okay. This is the world. Okay. They have what I call a reprobate mind. Okay. You tell people that God loves them and they get mad at me. Okay. So, no, I don't. I hate you, Damien, you dummy. You in particular, not the so-called Negroes. Okay. Which God put them in that situation to, as a form of punishment. Okay. And then we're all ultimately in a form of punishment, but that just shows the level of evil that God will go through and put his people through to let them know how much he hates people who violate his laws. Okay. And we should look at that in horror and not want to be against God's laws anymore. That's what we should look at. Okay. And then use that as an example. Okay. We do not want an earth where God's laws can be disobeyed. And then that's what the Bible promises, that God's elect will be, their laws will be put into their mind. So they cannot do that. And we can't wait for that. Whether it be us or another group, that's fine. Okay. So then they're leading. And so we don't have to be a part of that evil and witness that. We don't want that. Any normal person would want that. So I'm not treating you poorly, man. Okay. I'm telling you people the truth. Okay. That's why I go on Sakari's live streams and Tahara's, and I tell you people what the mark of the beast is. And then you still haven't answered what it is. Okay. The only people I care about are the elect. And even if I'm not one, because they're the only people who will have no guile in their mouth, according to Revelation 14. So, and they're going to look like I read, and like people of all nations. That's the only group I care about. Everybody else is just you people. Who cares? Okay. And that's me too, because we're going to be serving them. We're just there to support whatever their objective is and their narrative is that's coming from Christ. And then he's getting the instructions from the Most High. Because everything, all of this is for God's pleasure, according to Revelation 4:11. And so, that's just what it is. And that's not going to change in the kingdom. And it's the way it is right now. And so the slavery, even though it was brutal, that would have been some aspect that pleased God. Because then it was a righteous judgment. Okay. And God did that, not Esau, or whatever the hell you people talk about. People are stupid. Revelation 4:11, thou art worthy, O Lord, to receive glory and honor and power. Listen to this, for thou hast created all things. And for thy pleasure they are and were created. Okay. So enslavement, even though that was brutal, must have ultimately been for to please God. So imagine that. Yeah, LOP, the only thing I know for a fact, it wasn't me. Okay. And so it wasn't my idea. Okay. And then it came on a specific day. And so that was the day that the 400 years of enslavement ended, actually. And so I believe that day was special in terms of Bible prophecy. And so it was a 2-for-1. It fulfilled the 400 years of enslavement ending, and then it also fulfilled Revelation 7. And so the day itself is very unique. And then I didn't come up with that. I just am being honest. Like, trust me, I have an ego enough to take credit for what I do and what I don't do. And so I didn't come up with that. I know that for a fact. And so that voice either have come from God and is divine, or it's from God to deceive. And the only way to prove it is to see it. And so that's all we have to wait. That's all I have to wait for at this point. But the nice thing about it, again, this is what I'm thankful to God, is that without those clues, I could not understand the Bible the way that I do now. And then it's unlocked. Okay. It's like the solution's out. Okay. The secret's out, so to speak. And it's very clear that secret offends people, just like Damien. So it's funny. It's kind of funny, actually. So as a heathen, you're not supposed to lift your tongue at any Israelite, but you don't mind disobeying that because of the natural disdain you have. No, real Israelites, real ones, like Ezra, Daniel, obviously the disciples, obviously Christ, who is the chief Israelite, John the Baptist, Moses, Abraham, all these great men of faith. I love those men. They're great people. Why? Because they're going to prophesy, and they're going to prophesy accurately. Okay. And you're going to know that's an Israelite because they care about other people. And then the people that are the highest Israelites, they actually care about their enemies. Okay. So that's how I'm going to know that someone's an Israelite. Revelation 19:10, and I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, see thou do it not, I'm thy fellow servant. And so the Israelites are like their own almost secret society. They know that their job is only to worship God. They're like, no, don't worship me. Okay, don't come and kiss the ring. That's the way that they're like, the real ones. Okay. See thou do it not, I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the spirit, that have the testimony of Jesus. The Hebrews call him Yahushua. Listen to this, worship God. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. And so if you have the spirit of Christ, then you have to be involved in some amount of prophecy, even if that prophecy is saying Christ is going to return in my lifetime because I was sealed. That's it. Okay. And that's what they're going to say. They're not going to come here and say, oh no, my parents are so-called Negroes, so I'm good. Okay. I'm an Israelite. Okay. Well, that's good, man. Enjoy that then. If that's all you want, that's not what the Bible says. The Bible doesn't say, okay, I have quote unquote dark-skinned parents, so I'm good. No, that's not what the Bible said. What I just read in Revelation 19 said, it said that you have to have the spirit of prophecy. That's your testimony. And so, Damien, I'm asking you again for the 100th time, what is the mark of the beast? Okay, because that's a prophetic statement, because that's a fulfillment of a major, major prophecy in the Bible. So I ask you again for possibly like the 20th time, okay, what is the mark of the beast? And give us your testimony. Okay, and that's what we want. LOPs, like, they did show God as being African American also and I believe also in a movie with Jim Carrey, God was depicted as quote unquote dark skin. I'll find that movie. I believe it might be Bruce Almighty. Yeah, Morgan Freeman was played as God. And, for numerology people, Morgan Freeman is MF, which is 36666. But, God was demonstrated to be a so-called black man. Okay. And so, the movies, God is making those movies. Okay. And so he controls the left and the right-hand side. And so I just posted a video where I found the sequence of the end times in a rap song by RZA, okay, who's, the head of the Wu-Tang Clan. And, he's the so-called Negroes are very, very spiritual people, incredibly spiritual. And so they know a lot of things. I know that for a fact. And so you're going to get a lot of truth as well, but it's encoded a lot of times in things that they're involved in. Do you do the Sabbath I'm not sure if you're asking me, Silver Bullet. I pretty much keep a low profile, man. I don't really do much. I just kind of like poke my head out into the world and play a little golf and then make a video once in a while. So I don't really get too deep into it. I bought a pair of a shirt that had fringes, but I don't want to wear it now because then I'll be associated with these monsters on YouTube. So they're creating stumbling blocks for other people, and I don't want to be associated with evil. So with liars. So I don't even wear that. So if Most High is not dealing with me, then why are you here? I guess is what I'm asking. Like, why are you here? Why would you go to a person's channel who's telling lies, and God's not dealing with them? What's the purpose of that? And so you shouldn't worry then. Yeah, Dominic Anderson, Mies Kang's like, no worries, tell them what they. Yeah, dude, gotta give them the the cough syrup, okay. Just kind of is what it is, man. But anyway, man, good to see you, Mies. Dominic Anderson's like, Damian Logan, do you understand all of Israel is not all Israel, and John saw all nations? And yeah, exactly. That's the purpose ultimately with the Israelites, was actually to be, a witness, obviously to remove the evil, amongst their ecosystem, but then to be a light of the world, and then the nations will be drawn to them, and then they will serve them. And then that didn't happen here on earth. God put the other nations, in charge of them for a time, but in the kingdom, it's going to be reversed. Okay. The Israelites are going to rule, and they're going to rule according to God's laws, because those laws are going to be written on the elect's hearts and their mind. And so then we're going to have peace on earth. And so, but the people that serve the elect are going to be from all nations. And that group is going to be righteous. They're not going to sell you a mask. Okay. They're not going to be stealing people's blunts. Okay. And like Tahar doesn't even brush his teeth. And like, they're not going to take money and go get prostitutes. I know that for a fact. Okay. Wow. We're in 2021 and I have to say that, but that's the world that we live in. That's horrifying. But Dominic Anderson's correct when he's referring to the mixed multitude, in the book of Revelation. Revelation 7. Okay, this is amazing. And this describes the kingdom, those people that are in the kingdom. It goes through the elect, of course, which I read earlier. And this again supports the fact that there's a group that have to go through the Great Tribulation, which I've proven also in 2nd Ezra. But Revelation 7, I'll read at 14. And I said unto him, Sir, thou knowest. And he said, These are they which came out of great tribulation. Okay. And have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. And so that's a group that has gone through, some amount of the Great Tribulation, which is the wrath of God. And so, but they give up their life, as a testimony to their faith in God. And so, just know that. Revelation 14, 6 also supports the fact that the gospel is going to be preached to people in all nations. Okay. And to every kindred, every nation and kindred and tongue and people. And so, just know that. I'm going to try and get the verse of the mixed multitude in the book of Revelation. Yeah, Revelation, 7, 9 to 10. And after this, I beheld, this is after the elect are referenced. After this, I beheld, and lo, a great multitude, which no man could number, of all nations. Okay, and kindreds and peoples and tongues. And so this is the mixed multitude. And so that's a group that had to go through some amount of the Great Tribulation. The elect do not go through that. So Dominic's correct. There's a group that, are on God's right-hand side and in a place that, is, again, on God's right-hand side, that are from all nations. but the elect are from one nation, the nation of Israel. It may just not be his time yet. Your job is to reach out to your people, not mine. Dude, I don't want to reach out to your people or my people, man. I'm trying to teach the Bible, okay, and prove that I'm not deceived. And if I am in that group, then I'm of the elect and I'm an Israelite. So I don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. Who are your people? Hopefully your people are not as stupid as you. I don't want you to trust me. Okay, I'm not trying to build trust with you because you're deranged. And so don't worry, man. Just you should go along and do something else. There's got to be something better for you to do, man. If you're the elect, why are you here? Look at this. Mike Dornan's like, who are TMoG's people? He's like, non-Israelites. Instead of non-Israelites, he's like, non-Israelites. Look at this genius. Non-Israelites. Wow. Oh my God, dude. And you, I take it, are an Israelite. Because you can only desecrate us with your presence among us. Oh my God. That's crazy, dude. That's wild. Yeah, Mike, just, let them go, man. Let them be. If their God is real, then it's going to show up, and do what he says. And then if my God's real, my God's going to do what I am teaching, and then just what it is. Okay, so. We're told that in Acts 5:39. And so what's 5 plus 39 for the numerology people? That's 44. Okay, this is that number pops up a lot when it relates to God's elect. Acts 5:39. But if it be of God, which he seals his elect, you cannot overthrow it. You cannot, because God said it. Lest happily ye be found even to fight against God. Okay, and so that's what I'm claiming. Okay, and then it's not even about me anymore. It's about what I was told and who told me that. And so if that is of God, then we can't overthrow it. I can't even do anything to change it. I can't shake it off or anything like that. And so then Christ will return, when I'm in the body. And if I'm not, then we're going to see it. Okay, it's just not going to happen, or it's going to happen and I'm not involved or taken away. And so that's what we're reminded of in Acts 5:39 and everywhere. And so I'm not worried about that. It looks like Damien is. And I don't want the few people who are sincere to come by my channel. Don't be worried. If you're truly genuine and you want to be with the Most High and you're not a man worshiper or anything like that, don't worry. Okay, I'm not. I'm not at all. And so I'm confident that what I was told was from the Most High, because I didn't come up with it. Okay, I'm not clever enough to come up with it, first and foremost. And so that's just what it is. Yeah, and Bruce Almighty, that's right. So, there's a lot of truth in those movies, even though it's encoded. I don't want to be one of you, man. Okay, I don't want to be among you or one of you or around you or anything like that. So don't worry, man. We agree on that. We're in agreement, as Naz would say, from Tried and Refined. He dropped the Israelite, so he's tried and refined now. So we're in agreement on that. I don't want to be one of you or among you or anything like that. No, I don't want to be around stupid people who get emotional when the truth comes out. No, I don't want to be like that. Seems like your text chat is way behind your. Yeah, it might be. Sorry, man. I'm just kind of jumping all over. Yeah, Mark 9:38. I'll read that. I'm not here to make friends, man, or like disciples or anything like that, dude. I don't care. Okay. I'm here to understand my reality and learn more about the truth. And I don't want that to ever stop. Mark 9:38-41. John said to him, "Teacher, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he was not following us." But Jesus said, "Do not stop him, for no one who does a mighty work of my name will be able soon afterward to speak evil of me. For the one who is not against us is for us." Okay, so there's only two teams. There's only God's left and right hand side, and that's just what it is. And that's in Mark 9:40. For truly I say to you, whoever gives you a cup of water to drink because you belong to Christ will by no means lose his reward. And that's amazing. That's amazing. Same, hunker down, keep to self. Yeah, exactly, Mies. Mies knows what's going on, man. What's up, dude? This world is unstable, and so we just kind of keep to ourselves, and just that's all we can do, man. Damian Logan's like, are you an Israelite, Dominic? By that I mean, are both your parents? Okay, so this guy, I thought it was only based on the house of your father. So now both of your parents have to be Israelites. When did that happen? LOP, Damian Logan, doesn't matter to God. God is no respecter of persons. God is a respecter of persons for sure, but we can't identify them with certainty just based on the way they look or where they are on earth. We cannot. And if we could, it would be easy. You just go to them and then they'll tell you what's going on, except the group in Arzareth in the Middle East. They are Israelites. And then they're going to tell you a lot of things that are true and that kind of thing. But here in the rest of the earth, then no, you can't. You have to go based on what they know, what their spirit is and the way they care about other people. And so in that regard, God very much does respect Israel. Only his elect. And I'll read that in the Bible, of course. Exodus 2:25. What's 2 plus 25? 27. 2 sevens, 14. That number keeps popping up, not by coincidence. So does 55. That's in Exodus 2:25, 2 5s, 5 5. And God looked upon the children of Israel, and God had respect unto them. And so I don't have any issues with people who state that the Israelites are God's chosen people, because that's obviously true. And not just that, within the Israelites, there's a chosen amongst the chosen. And that group is called the elect. Okay. And that's, they're the stars of the show, whether they know it or not. If not, then no point wasting my time breaking down the scripture. Well, dude, why are you here, man? At least before you go, tell us what the mark of the beast is. LOP, is this guy saying only dark-skinned people can be saved? Maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, I think he's been my channel once before, but I think the bigger issue is, why is he in such a bad mood? Okay, like if you're the chosen, that's great, you should be in a great mood. You should be happy, like, man, well, okay, I'm gonna be like taken, I'm gonna be saved and all that. So why are you angry? Okay, like why aren't you happy about that at least? You should be happy about that, man. You're the lucky one, right? So why are you so angry? And why aren't you teaching us something? Yeah, Dominic, that's going to be above his head. He's not going to understand what you're saying. The kingdom is going to have people of all nations. We know for a fact the Israelites, the elect, are going to be the leaders. We know that. And that's the world that's being referred to in John 3:16. And the most important thing, which I'm happy of either way, if I'm in that group, then I'm going to be programmed to be righteous. And if I'm not, then the group that is there, they're going to be programmed to be righteous. And it's not going to be like this earth. It's going to run properly. Okay. So I'm happy either way. I just want to get into that place because of this. Which is what we're taught, in Matthew 11:11. And remember, John the Baptist is Elijah, okay, who's had a tremendous amount of power. Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there hath not risen a greater than John the Baptist, notwithstanding he that is least in the kingdom is greater than he. That's how humble Christ is. He even puts John the Baptist even above himself, because Christ is humble. He's a real Israelite. not like these ding dongs that come by my channel. Okay. So just getting in the kingdom means that you're going to know a lot of things. Yeah, we agree with that. Ultimately, God only cares about his chosen, for sure. Yeah, thanks T. Larson for that. I was just trying to find that one, but that's the one. Revelation 7:9. Okay. Yeah, LOP, God is actually, in fact, racist. I'm not sure why you have an issue with that. He's a nationalist. Okay, he cares about a nation, and not just a nation, a group within that nation. So racist maybe is not the right term, because we can look up the word what a race means. But yeah, God cares. He's a nationalist. Okay, and that's true. So don't take issues with that. Yeah, a racist is somebody who's prejudiced against or antagonistic toward a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group. Typically one that is a minority or marginalized. And so, yeah, God is effectively racist because he's against certain people who are not in that group. Okay, and then people can be grafted in, like Dominic's saying, but this group is a group that's a minority, okay, and they're not a certain racial group necessarily, but they're of like an ethnic group, okay, because they come from a particular seed. And so that is the case, okay. God's chosen are the Israelites. And the way we're going to know that they're the Israelites is because of this. And this is why I don't see this anywhere on earth. So it's in very, very few people on earth. Psalms 147, 19-20, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He hath not dealt so with any nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. And so God is a quote unquote nationalist. Okay. And that nation that he is for is the nation of Israel. And the way we can find out about that group is they're going to know his statutes and his judgments and his word. Okay. So they're going to be involved in God's word, and they're going to know it at the deepest level. And that's why I don't suspect anybody will be able to alter what I've said, because if what I say is true, then I'd be an Israelite, and then no other Israelite's going to come and make a different version. Okay. It's the same God. So it's just a wait and see. So yeah, LOP, in that regard, just understand that. It should be good for you to know, because it's true. So just know that is the case. Whether you want to say that or say he's a nationalist, he is. Okay, he has a chosen people, and they're going to behave a certain way, and they're going to know certain things. They're going to have secrets. Okay. And just know that they're not going to be about money, or making money or enslaving other people. They have a genuine care for other people. That's how you're going to know, who they are. Ironically or not, Bruce Almighty was partially filmed, and it takes place in my. Oh, nice, dude. Yeah, that's cool, man. Jim Carrey's Canadian, so anytime I see anything Canadian, I'm kind of interested in that. But because I grew up in Canada, but. What's this? Dude, the chat is lit, man. I thought it was going to be just a quiet little afternoon, but people are bored, I think, today, which is cool. I'm not talking about the people that are regulars. I already told you that I am not a one Wester, yet I am the dumb. What do you, dude? Why don't you put some space between your words, man? Salvation is for God's elect. Okay. So when you're saying you have a shot at salvation, means that you believe you're the elect. And if you're the elect, then you've been sealed. And if you've been sealed, then you should be able to debunk my teaching. And then you're the elect and I'm not. And so then and you should definitely know what the mark of the beast is. And so, I'm still waiting, waiting for you to say that. Like, why is that so hard for you to say? You should be proud of like knowing what it is. Yeah, it's not true. It's all nations. Okay. The Israelites are going to be the leaders though, without a doubt. That's the government that's being spoken of in John 3:16. And we should want that. Even if we're not an Israelite, that's fine, because we want the kingdom to be righteous and to function in a healthy way. They're not going to charge usury and interest. They're not going to cheat you out of your wages, and they're not going to be stupid, basically. So I want that. Okay. If I am one, then that's what it is. And if I'm not, I'd still want to get in. Okay. Because those 144,000 men, the Bible says, are going to be tried like gold that's tested, in fire. And so they're going to be pure. Okay. Then the Bible says they have no guile in their mouth. They're not going to be liars. And so there won't be a vibe of lies in the kingdom. And they're going to make sure of that. Yeah, Mies, don't worry, dude. There's a lot of Mandela effect going around. It's just, you could have got you, it could have got me. So no worries. There's this Delta and the Mu variant. Okay, so you got to look out for that. So it's just what it is. You got to quit hating us if you want to get in. You won't get in despising the Almighty's, Most High's apple of his eye. No, I love the apple of God's eye. And that would be the elect. And then they would tell me when they were sealed. They wouldn't be shy about it. They would be proud to tell me, when they were sealed. And then they would tell me what God told them. And so that group I care about deeply. Not you dummies who don't have a clue what the hell you're talking about. Okay. Stupid, man. I refuse to be a part of any system anywhere where I'm conscious and seeing it, where it's just filled with stupid people. We've done enough of that. So I'm not doing that here, there, anywhere. Okay. No, I'm sorry. I refuse. So that's what it is. And I hope a lot of other people agree with that. We only want to report to righteous people. That's it. And doesn't matter who it is, actually. We know obviously the top is going to be Christ. So if you're coming here, first of all, with your horrible sentence structure, I don't like that right from the beginning, but maybe I'll let you go on that. But if you don't know what the mark of the beast is now in 2021, September 2021, then you're not it. Okay. I know that for a fact because it could not be more obvious what it is. And so just the fact that you haven't answered that question is telling. It doesn't matter what your skin color is. Okay. That's not going to save you. Dominic, our scriptures say not to envy our oppressors, nor choose not. Yeah. So if that's the case, why are your quote unquote leaders not telling their people what the mark of the beast is? How come they're not saying that when you're not supposed to trust your oppressor? So Dominic, explain that. Why are all of your leaders just a bunch of sellouts and actors? So I'm glad you brought that up. Our scriptures say to not envy our oppressors, nor choose none of their ways. Wow. How come that's the case then? How come your chief actor, Sakari, is selling masks when that's against Job 9:24? You're not supposed to do any of their ways. It's true. I agree with that. So maybe you can answer that question after you're done with the mark of the beast. Damien's just straight up trolling at this point. Yeah, he's just in a bad mood. He's angry. That's fine. We're here to comfort him. That's cool. Mind of God, he has chosen the Israelites, but therefore I say unto the kingdom of heaven are taken from you and given to a nation. Yeah, no doubt. LOP, there's no argument that all nations are represented in the kingdom. I've just proven that again in Revelation 7 and everywhere. I know that without a doubt. That doesn't change who the elect are. The elect are Israelites because it's explicit in Revelation 7. And that's the government. That's the chosen, among the chosen. Okay. And so just know that. That's the group that's obtained it. And the rest were blinded. So all the other Israelites are blinded. And so just know that. So I don't disagree with that verse. Okay, I'll read that. Matthew 21:43. But don't throw out the baby with the bathwater, so to speak. There are a chosen people. without a doubt. Therefore I say unto you, Matthew 21:43, therefore I say unto you, the kingdom of God shall be taken from you and given to a nation, bringing forth the fruits thereof. Okay. And so that's the case. And so the kingdom is going to be filled with people of all nations, but be led by Israelites, because they're the ones who God gave the law to. And the law is going to be seen fully in the kingdom, how it works when it's honored everywhere. And so God's elect are Israelites in Revelation 7, and that's the government. And then that's who salvation is tailored for. The end times are cut short for the elect's sake. Okay, and the rest, the elect have obtained it, but the rest were blinded. And if you can understand this, those elect are angels, okay, who are here to see evil, and then they're ultimately being promoted to a small g, to God. Okay, and so that might be over some people's heads, but that's what's going on. Let's see. I don't envy my oppressor. I hate this place. That's good, Dominic. That's good, man. And you're gonna like what I share here. Manny, what's up? Good to see you, Manny. What are you talking about, TMoG? If I'm not a one Western, then it automatically means I'm not in Sakari. I don't think Sakari necessarily agrees with all of One West, and that's why they broke off. So they could have started that way, of course, with GMS, but no, One West, I think a lot of groups have broken off from One West. So no, they're not One Westers. So what are you talking about? Okay, why don't you think? Okay, if they were still with One West, then they would still be with GMS. Okay, so what are you talking about, man? You got to use your brain, man. One West, by the way, is a Masonic lodge. Okay, that's what it is. We're just calling it what it is. Ricard is a Mason, part of a motorcycle gang. We know all these people are Masons. Ken Hovind, all these people are just actors. Okay, and at this point, they're just terrible actors. That doesn't even matter whether you're a One Wester or you're a Hebrew Israelite or a 501c3 Christian or whatever the hell you are. People are just a bunch of terrible actors. Okay, so if I were to go on Deacon's smoke session and ask him if he's One West, will he agree? I don't want to do that because I find talking to them boring at this point, but are they going to agree that they're still part of One West? Are they going to say that? Or are you just making that up? First of all, why are you still here? Okay, is what I really want to know. What are you doing here, man? Time is 1:44. You know, that's your time to go, man. Okay, Damien, it's 1:44. You can leave now here in Houston. So we've like learned enough about your emotional situation, state of mind right now. And we found it funny, but maybe it's time for you to go. But you don't mind kissing up to heathens. We have no business having interaction. Yeah, well then don't come here. Don't come here, man. Like, people have been much better on my comment board in the last little while. They don't say anything, you know, and then I would just recommend don't say anything if you don't know. And that's advice that I needed to hear years ago when I just didn't know certain things. I didn't know that I didn't know, but now I know that I was ignorant to the scriptures. And so, you know, now I just recommend people, if you don't know, then just say you don't know, you know, and then if I would have known better, I shouldn't have really been teaching the Bible until I can state that I've been sealed, and then that would fill it in. But everything up to that was important. You know, I needed it to be the foundation. But the only group that should be teaching the Bible are the elect, the 144,000, nobody else, because the rest are blinded. And so that's why I essentially have no choice but to say that I'm of the elect, and that I'm an Israelite, and that we're in the last days, the last of the last days, in fact, because I'm not hanging around here. I wouldn't even want to be here for too much longer, even if the Bible wasn't true, much less the fact that it is very likely true at this point, and gives us even more motivation to not want to be here. So yeah, I mean, they're like, Tahar's an actor. Okay, there's no reason even talking about One West and all that. Like, they're just actors, and the elect know that because the elect are not actors. And so that's, again, one of the reasons why I believe I'm in that group, is I'm not an actor. And I can find out if you're an actor quickly. Just like Dominic or Damian Logan doesn't want to answer what the mark of the beast is. That's what an actor would do. Oh, I don't want to talk about that. Okay, as well. Okay, well, what do you want to talk about now then? If you don't want to talk about the mark of the beast now in September 2021, what are you allowed to talk about? Okay, when it's happening right before our eyes. So, I mean, how much more obvious could it be that we're just dealing with a bunch of actors? The elect are not actors; they're real people. You know, their mind is now open and they can see all the evil. You know, in themselves first, always, and then they see it out there. You know, and it could not be more obvious that it's out there on full display. It's on display in my chat room right now in this chat box. Okay. These people, man, they just don't even know how to freaking type a sentence and they want to be the elect. Really? Come on, man. The Israelites are a special people. They're very humble. Okay. And they're very proud, but they're proud of their God. That's it. Okay. They don't want to talk about anything else. Okay. They don't brag about themselves and this and that and yada, 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 none of that. Okay. It's just my God said this and that's it. There's nothing else to talk about. The living God said this. Fill in the blanks, and then do you have any other questions? That's the way that they're going to be. And I don't see that on this earth. And I never will, is what I realize now. And so that's why I would highly recommend people consider what I say. Don't believe it as gospel, but that's what I say. The living God told me this. And then I ask you, do you have any other questions? Okay. So I asked the chat, actually, honestly, do you have any other questions? Okay, because we're done entertaining this guy who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You're definitely not an Israelite, TMoG. I can tell by your spirit and your, okay, yeah, dude, that's funny because another one of your comrades, Obadiah, is Judgment, started making fun of my hair. Okay, and I don't know where he is anymore. He's missing in action maybe, but, he started making fun of my hair. And then that's when I know that we're not dealing with anybody who's like an Israelite. Okay, you shouldn't be on YouTube complimenting or making fun of another man's appearance. That's shady. Okay, so I don't know why you're doing that. You shouldn't do that, man. If you think that you're an Israelite, so you shouldn't be worried about the way a man looks. And even in these days, you shouldn't be worried about the way a woman looks because a lot of these women are pushing the evil agenda. So don't worry about that. I'm just giving you friendly advice, man. Definitely don't worry about my hair, and how I'm losing it. Okay. It's been happening for a while. So I'm comfortable with it. Okay. So hopefully you can get comfortable with that, man. Don't worry about my hair, man. God's elect are in all nations. I just read that in Jeremiah 31:8 and everywhere in the Bible. So they could be Chinese. Okay. They could be Pakistani. They could be European. I do believe a concentration are in America, without a doubt. So it's not a hair thing. Okay. If you're like looking at a person's hair, then you're completely lost. Absolutely finished. Okay. Totally done. And so if you are sure that I'm not an Israelite, well, then don't worry, because then I can't be of the elect by definition. And then you should only care about what the elect say, because like I read earlier, the rest were blinded. So go find the elect then. Or be the elect yourself. Put your link in the chat and then link your channel in the chat. I'll give you a wrench for a second, and then we'll go listen to what you have to say. Let me see if I can look up your channel. What are you teaching? So where does it say in the Bible that every one of God's elect are going to have woolly hair? What's the verse that you're quoting there, Damien? What verse is that? I just read that God's elect are in all nations. Let's see what Damien's got going on his channel. Okay, he's got 5 subscribers and 1 video 5 years ago. Wow. Okay, good job, man. Way to really push for the truth there. 5 subs and 1 video 5 years ago. Really? Good job, dude. You must be tired, man. You must be tired, man. Why are you here doing all that work for the truth, man? You should be exhausted. So I don't know why you're here, man. After doing all that work for the truth, you should be take today off, man. Just relax. All right, so I'll probably wrap it up if people don't have any other questions. I'm going to just go hit a few golf balls, just kind of chill out. There's some bad weather coming to Houston, so I'm going to try and get that in. Yeah, I mean, that's I do believe, Jewish questions was sincere. He didn't mean to bring up that topic last time. I kind of gave him a bit of attitude, but that's not what we should talk about. Okay. That's what I wanted the lesson of that to be. We're not supposed to talk about that because it's not in the Bible. If it was in the Bible, then that would be easy. Oh, God's elect to have this hair color, or they have like a green dot on their head. Okay. Well, that's easy. Okay. That's not the way it is. Okay. That would be simple if that was the case. And God made this confusing on purpose. And so we're not supposed to talk about that. First of all, that's not what men talk about. Other men's appearance. Okay. Oh, wow. That person's so fast. Who cares at this point? No. And we're not supposed to talk like that. So it's so easy in the last days to know who's on God's right-hand side. It's simple. These truths are not really that complicated. It's like you got to be spiritual. Like Christ says, and I'll end off on this verse. Who's the Most High looking for? Well, let's find out. And then it's simple. It's very easy. Couldn't be easier to be a Christian in the days that we live in now, and it's also hard, obviously, if what we're about to go through, with our lives being on the line. But it's very, very simple. John 4:24. Wow, 24. Wow, we see that number again popping up. That's probably just a coincidence. Okay, 24 appears everywhere. Okay, 24, 44, God's elect. Listen to this. God is a spirit. Okay, that's an amazing statement just in and of itself. So the physical is one of his ideas. Like I read in Revelation 4:11, God is a spirit. And they that worship him must worship him in spirit, listen to this, and in truth. Okay. A lot of spiritual people throughout human history. Mother Teresa was spiritual. Gandhi was spiritual. Okay. Mark Sargent, all these people are spiritual. Russian Vids is spiritual. Okay. And I'm spiritual. Lots of people who come by my channel are spiritual, but we're required to worship him, listen to this, in spirit and in truth. Okay. And we can only do that if we listen to the elect, or we are the elect ourselves because they know the truth. Okay. And then they're going to be a certain type of person. And so they're going to be distracted by doing that, worshiping God. Okay. They're going to be distracted. They don't want to talk about your hair and your skin color and how fast you can swim through a pool and stuff like that. I don't care, man. I don't care. I'm not giving anybody any points for how fast they can run or swim, or they can put a ball in a hole like a basketball. Okay. No one gives a flip. I play golf just to pass time. That's it. Okay. And then it sort of relaxes me. But no, I don't want to hear that. Okay. Whatever, man. Okay. You're dark skinned. Great. You get a pass. Your God's going to give you a pass. Well, good luck. Man, I'll be happy for you. That's stupid if that's the case, but man, I'll be happy for you. What's going on here? Yeah, that's good, man. You're tired of your captivity. That's great, man. You're holding us captive here with your stupid thoughts. Manny's like, you're bugging out. Yeah, dude. Manny's from Issachar, so listen to another Israelite. Okay. If you're not going to listen to me, if I'm a heathen or whatever, Damien's just having a bad day, man. Just let him do that. Let him get it out. Damien Logan, your heart is hateful, man. You hate people. The woman Christ called a dog was not Israel. But yeah, exactly. That's a great example. She wasn't an Israelite. Okay. And, then she would have said, I'm an Israelite, but she wasn't. And then Christ, what did she say? What did he say to her? Great is your faith. And then Christ has used other people to say, I've not found this much faith in Israel. And he's talking about people who are outside of Israel. And so what does that tell you about what's really going on? Damon is not spiritually focused on how God looks at a person's heart. Yeah, absolutely correct. Without a doubt. That I agree with 100% LOP. And that's exactly what I read here is none of this has anything to do with physical appearance. How can you demonstrate that you're worshiping in spirit? You have to love the truth. And what is the truth? Christ says he's the truth, or the Hebrews call Yahushua. And so we know who the elect are by how they're pursuing God. And that's a form of worship. And so that's amazing. And then obviously along the way, we have to help out other people. Okay. We have to care, and then Christ gave us a supreme example that even we have to care about our enemies. And one way we care about them is not by lying to them. That's for sure. Gandhi openly hated dark-skinned people. I wouldn't be surprised if that's true. And for numerology people, Mahatma Gandhi is MG, which is 36666. So we know that Gandhi's just an actor, and not anybody to be applauded. He believes the so-called Christians on earth are the real Christians. Okay, and we know that they're all Satanists and actors. And so he didn't understand, and he's obviously not of the elect, but he's just an actor. Okay, he's not to be exalted or anything. He's like, I love your Christ, but I don't like your Christians, and we don't like those Christians either. Okay, and so because they're not real Christians. And so that's one famous quote that he had, and I agree with him on that. But that doesn't mean that you dismiss Christianity or the Bible. And so it's a bad time to dismiss the Bible. I'll tell you that. Anybody out there, it's a bad time to give up on the Bible. Okay, just hang in there. I say this sincerely for anybody out there who's like tired and on their last breath, so to speak, like I am. Don't give up, on the God of the Bible. This is a bad time to do it. There's been better times in the past. Not funny, but never want to give up on God ever, of course. But this is a bad time. Really it is. Just hang in there. It cannot be that far away. Well, that's good, man. Go love your fellow Israelites then. Okay, do it, man. That's great. Go do that, and just don't do that here if I'm a heathen and that kind of thing. The people that come by my channel are smart. Okay, they know what's going on. They don't just trust whatever I say. They go and investigate it. Okay, and then and if they don't believe it, they want to wait and see. And then that's ultimately what I want to see as well. Okay, it's not funny, but like they're not stupid like you. All right, that's a good way to end. Under Saturn's rings, like hello. Praise be to the heliocentric God. That's hilarious, man. You spinning ball earthers, man. It's also a bad time to be a ball earther. But thanks again for everybody coming by. This went a lot longer than I wanted, but always appreciate, people that come by and chime in. And Damien kept us entertained, so that's good. And it becomes very, very clear when we see that, how we're not like that. And that's good. Pat yourself on the back. Okay. We're not pushing anything physical or carnal or anything financial. We're only concerned about what I read, the spirit and truth. And we pursue the truth intensely. And that's offensive to even people who may be Israelites. And who cares? All right. So thanks again, people. Take care. Bye.